Grind
But
didn't
no,
make
I,
grind
it's,
didn't make me think of clips, but then that takes us all the way back to drug dealing again.
grinding sound worse than working. I'm grinding away, like. But I
Gears,
say that all the time. Know what I
gears
mean?
and shit. You know what
Yeah,
grinding make
that
me
sounds like
think
my
when I think
joints
grinding
make me
away?
think of
It
my
make me
knees
think
and
of
stuff like
knees.
that.
My knees
Yeah,
rubbing
see,
on it.
look,
That's the
I was
cartilage
just
is
thinking about
gone.
my
The
knees.
cartilage is gone.
That's exactly. See, we on the same. I don't like grinding. I don't like that. That sounds like arthritis.
Boom, 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 boom. That's
Look
the
at that song. Yeah, nah, who grinding sound hard. Like that shit sound terrible.
grinding. Podcasts and stuff. We just started. The strickens of the flipping.
Bars.
Oh, you want the opening bars?
I don't know. The last two, you kind of like busted into
The
some.
opening bars. We out here coming real hard. Porn star scenario. Buster Rhymes. What's the scenario? He dropped an album last week. America got me on fleek. I don't know what to tweet, cause I don't know who won the election. I'm trying to be stiff, but I can't get the erection. Not till I know who won. Then I can beat off and get my cum. Yeah, son. There you go.
All right.
There you go. Stress
Yeah.
bars. I'm trying to get off, but the stress of the nation is too much pressure.
The stress of the nation. Wow. The stress of the nation. Damn. That's a lot of stress. The stress of a whole nation? Like, yeah, that's a lot.
I feel it's the Jesus power of the Catholics.
That's like being the president or some shit. Right? Yeah.
It's the Jesus power of the Catholics because we just carry guilt. We just carry guilt. It just carry like it's like a shitty X-Men mutant, you know? That's my power. Is just feel the guilt. Just feel
Yeah, that's
it's just walking empathy. It's just walking.
Yeah, jeez. Very well. Here we are for another edition.
Another one, as they would say.
I mean, obviously, there's, I guess, all kind of things to talk about. But,
well, I mean,
anything you had in particular?
So I mean, we could start with the if we want to be all serious, the present day stuff. Like, so I guess the two big things right now is one, the obvious one with the president one, and then going to the culture would be, I can't remember his name, but the rapper today who died in Atlanta that you told me about. So.
Oh, King Von.
King Von, yes.
Right.
So that's the immediate present because that actually happened today. Unlike the election that's dragging out forever. But
I haven't been really following too much of that. I've been kind of in the battle rap world the last few days, following that kind of stuff and the controversy going on over there. So other than that, I really haven't been like looking at too much.
Well, tell me, you said his name's King Von, right?
King Von, yeah.
What? So what happened? Because like I know you told me, but then like I saw this lady on Twitch talk about it. Like just someone posted an article in her chat, and so like the way I understood it from what she read, it almost seemed like cops killed him.
That's what a lot of people were saying at first.
Yeah,
people were saying that it was police. So there's a video.
There's a video of him being shot?
Yeah, that's what I was telling you.
I didn't get that.
Up for debate. It's an actual video. It's on YouTube, so you can see him get shot.
Jesus.
You see the person shoot him. It's not a police officer, but
so the kill shot is actually on YouTube. Like you can literally see that.
Is on. You don't see him die because he doesn't die.
Yeah.
He dies in the hospital, but you see him get shot. Yeah, You
Damn,
see the dude.
I didn't know that.
It's like, man, it's a bazillion videos of it now.
Damn.
Pretty clear. But looked like a fight. Apparently, there's another rapper. His name is Quando Rondo, and I don't know where he's based out of, but I guess he has ties to NBA YoungBoy, who has some issues with King Von. I'm not saying this is the reason, but that's the tie-in that people are bringing in, is that it may be related to the beef that NBA YoungBoy, because I guess Quando Rondo is affiliated with them. Nonetheless, it looked like there's a fight during the little scuffle. There's like multiple people. You can see King Von fighting somebody, and then you also see somebody come around from like a car, start shooting. You see him get shot. You see two people actually get shot in the film, but one person looked like they shot on their leg. They still alive. Like kind of just sitting on. It's a crazy looking scene. This man bugged out. And he's like in the middle of the street. It looked like he's still fighting while he's shot. Somebody's still like holding on to him. Eventually, they all like kind of scatter, and you know, some people pick him up. And then there's another video clip of, I don't know who it is, but it's people presumably holding him up. You don't see him in the film, but they're like going to the hospital. Like, where do we, you know, we get him a wheelchair. It looked like they going to the emergency room, which is nuts that it was being filmed. My first thought with like first response is like not to turn my cell phone on and record this, but like probably keep it alive, right?
That's today culture. I feel like, yeah.
And it's not a long clip; it's super short. And then there's another really short clip of somebody that was at the shootout as it was happening. They're like on the floor for some reason, but like their car doors blocking them. They're almost like hiding, and you hear mad gunshots, and you hear the dude in the car is telling him like, "Yo, get in the car, like we got to get out of here." But in the background, you can hear mad shooting. But some dude shoots him. 2 people died. 3 people died. So it's King Von and 2 other people from his gang or whatever, his crew, and then 2 other people I guess also got shot. But that's what happened. Yeah. But so the police part is, I guess the police do get into it also, but I think it's after the fact. There was an off-duty cop in the news article. They said it was an off-duty cop and an on-duty cop. I don't know if they were both working at the club, because this happens outside of a nightclub, you know, at 3 in the morning when nothing good's going on. And so they were responded to. It wasn't like plainclothes police officers responding to the call in that manner. They just, you know, see the altercation. They work at the club. They kind of responded, but I guess they got shot at too. But they were not the ones that shot and killed King Von. You could actually see in the video the person who does it, which probably doesn't bode well for those people, right? Like it's on film. So I imagine, right, like people may get caught for this or whatever, but you could see the person that shoots him. Like very clearly. It's like it was like as he was fighting. So if you watch the video, he's like fighting somebody. It looked kind of like a scuffle with a bunch of people. You just see another dude come out from like around the corner, and he just shoots 2 people, shoots his shots or whatever, you know, and then people start moving around and whatever. But yeah, he was kind of like fighting somebody as he got shot. So it wasn't even, you know, like he was in front of somebody and they shot him, or he was in a shootout. You know, it was kind of like a sucker kind of shot, you know, in a way. But yeah, that's what happened.
Real quick, because I was in like producer mode, figuring some stuff out here. So those who exactly is he fighting with again when this happened?
I don't know who he's actually fighting with, like the person, but it's somebody from Quando Rondo's crew, I presume, if not Quando Rondo himself.
Yeah.
No, the internet is saying that there was an altercation with that dude's you know, entourage or whatever you want to call it.
But there was no cop in that crew, right?
Nah.
Yeah.
You see the dude, they shot him. It don't look like no police, it look like a goon. And he comes from the car that they're in. You know, it looked like he came back and just, you know, whatever. But the police part, I think, happens after the fact. And I don't even know that if whoever those 2, the off-duty cop whoever they engaged with, I don't know if they actually even hit any of the people that they shot. I think all of the people shot is from the two parties shooting. That happens, afterwards as they're trying to intervene in it. But the shooters had already started before those cops even respond. That's what they respond to.
Mm.
So everyone that got shot from that had already gotten shot before the cops get into anything with anybody else.
So
so that's what happened. That's what happened.
All right. And there's no more New York news, right? Because that's a fresh story. That's like today.
Nah, that's the most I've seen. There's already, his ops is smoking his pack online already. It's all the celebration videos and all the death videos from the other Chirac goblins and demons. Basking in the dead enemies.
So that guy,
but not too long ago when FBG Duck, another Chicago rapper who was recently killed, he just wasn't on the same notoriety as he was in like the game. Like you probably, Little Durk's probably the most popular of like that subset of people from Chicago, those rappers that, cause he got the song with Drake, you know what I'm saying? He's more popular. King Von was like, from what I was seeing, was like, maybe the second dude from Chicago behind Dirk that's hitting, getting into that atmosphere where everyone else is kind of right, like just doing the Chirac kind of thing. Even though they said that dude had just got a deal, but that don't mean you're gonna be like the next dude or anything. But he died, and he was making fun of that dude when he died. That's what they do.
Who, Dirk?
You know what I'm saying? Both of them, him and King Von, because that dude was one of their enemies.
Oh, yeah.
And when he was killed, they all get online and smoke a weed symbolically, saying that they're smoking the dead person or something like that, and laughing about it and making it's a dead enemy. I guess I get it in a warfare kind of sense, but it's kind of it's also sick and twisted in a way too.
Yeah.
There is some sort of decency to warfare too. It's not a good thing to desecrate dead bodies and disrespect the dead. When you won, and they dead, and that's
so that
if anything, there's some respect, right? Like as a enemy, you know what I'm saying? Just as a combatant, like we similar in a sense, right? Like a fighter's kind of acknowledgement, like I respect that, so I'm not gonna, even if we fight into the death, I still respect that you fight into the death. So when if you die, well, how I'm a spit, but wars hate, right? People die, feeling terrible shit goes on too, right? People keep people's ears. People used to do all kind of nasty things too. So it's probably just best not to be killing people and such, and nasty things don't happen. But that's what killing breeds, right? People doing more crazy shit, being hurt, right? Keeping heads out of revenge or whatever, misplaced, right? Dark side feelings lead to all bad things. It don't fix nothing though. Don't change nothing. Don't bring nobody back to life. So I don't know. But yeah, these people are reveling in his death, some of them.
It is the crew that he was beefing with. I think he said Rondo, right? His name. Are they also from Chirac?
They're not from my understanding. They're associated with NBA Youngboy, who's from Louisiana. So this happens in Atlanta. This
That's
didn't
what I
happen
was saying. So it's not even in anybody's like land, a territory or whatever.
Yes, but the tie-in is that people are saying is that King Von had issues with NBA Youngboy. I think they shared a girlfriend. Some nonsense,
some
like
stuff,
that.
yeah.
And because they're not from the same city, right? They're not even from. So those type of issues shouldn't exist. It wasn't like his enemy gang, his native enemies from Chicago that did this. It's, another rap. That's what I don't know. Maybe Quando Rondo is from Chicago. I don't look at it that much, but from what I gathered, I didn't think so. But either way, I don't think he's on their usual enemy list. It's not like the Crips or something. That's their, like, you know what I mean? Like their natural enemy. I don't know how, it comes other than the NBA affiliation, which is like speculation. So, but yeah.
All right.
Another Chirac rapper killed as I don't know. It's sad. I'm not surprised. That dude is said to be a reputed assassin himself. So I mean, again, right? You dealing death. That may be what's on the table for you. You can't, right? Like, other than collateral damage, outside of like true actual warfare, right? Like, if you ain't on the battlefield, you probably won't get hit by a bullet. But stay out there long enough. Keep playing long enough. A bullet is waiting for you somewhere. There's one with your name on it, just waiting. You
Live by the sword.
Might get lucky and don't get shot at you. But it's one out there waiting for those who want to dabble on any battlefield. Is one out there just by virtue of being there. One is made for you. That's the price. Life for life. You kill, a bullet got your name on it. Don't mean you get it in that way, but best believe one is made for you as soon as you sign up to any battlefield. Quit while you ahead, I guess, right?
To live by the sword.
The best advice. And if it don't need to be fought, it don't need to go on the battlefield, don't go there. What this dude dead really about? Hey, you live that life, live by the sword, die by the sword. Like, it's like the joke is this was supposed to happen. Gangbanger's supposed to die, right?
All right. So that leads into the president.
Does it?
I don't know. That's the other, like, I guess in terms of recent news of overtaking, the world, right?
What do you think about the King Von thing? If anything.
Yeah, I didn't know that guy exists today. So I'm like, right, it's almost like a Biggie life after death thing for me, right? You're nobody till somebody kills you, right? I probably don't even ever hear of him till, like you were saying, he was next in line. So maybe just like I didn't know who Lil Durk was till he appeared on the Nas album and then that Drake song. But really, I noticed him on the Nas album because he just would have been. I probably didn't understand that was the same person because I don't be paying it. Even though I follow Drake, I don't be following the Drakeosphere that well, But yeah, like yeah, I mean, like, it's sad, but it's almost like it's like the saga continues, right? Wu-Tang forever, right? Like the saga continues, and we still doing the same shit. Like these two dudes. I mean, I guess, right? I don't know they path, right? But like, I guess you can argue without the street culture, maybe they don't get into the music game. But it's like, man, what's the point of getting into the music game if you still gotta keep doing this stuff? Wasn't the whole point of all this to escape it, right? I'm thinking of Jay-Z and Memphis Bleek when he has to convince Memphis Bleek to become a rapper on the coming of age track, and he wrote the bars for Memphis Bleek, and he's like, here, rhyme this, and he didn't want to do it. He's like, look, I don't know how to rap. He's like, don't worry, I got it right here, these bars or whatever. It's something like this. I'm probably messing up the story, but the story's the same. But basically, he got to convince him to be a rapper because he's like, you don't understand. You get on this track, life is good. You don't get on this track, you're going to be living here for, like forever, You're going to just stay in Marcy, but like, it just seemed like, all right, so now you're in the game, but you're still doing this. It's like, I don't even understand. Like, what's the point of even being in the game then, So
right. Oh, it's just it's another edition. The saga continues. But what I will say is, I know we talk about it. I know people talk about it, but like, and I was talking with somebody before, like, the culture, whatever people define as the culture, needs to just face, and it's our culture too. We're part of the culture, right? Like hip hop or the whatever, what people call the culture.
Yeah.
Is really bad parts in it. There are some absolute terrible parts of this culture, like wrong parts that we overlook. It's taboo to talk about. It's these things are, in some cases seen as cool and necessary. And we'll point out all kind of things elsewhere, right? Because it's always easier to do that. But there are some nonsensical, just poisonous things in our culture that are there for a reason, right? Like, but when do we say, okay, like, we know why it's here. We voice that it's here. We voice these things. When do they change? Do we just keep telling the story, or do we start a new one? I understand it's always important to understand the past, but when do we start telling new stories? And maybe every now and then remind you about the past or something like that. But we got to start admitting that the street culture is trash. All of it is garbage. It's not good for nothing. The little values that do exist in them, nobody follows. For the most part, it's a deaf game and it's bullshit. And people are told they can't do things and they have to do this. This is not a good part of the culture. It's not. It just unequivocally isn't. And it don't lead to good things. But people want to keep ignoring it. It's acceptable to sing and dance about these things. But then it's sad when these things happen in real life. Like, you got to figure out, culture got to figure out what it wants to be. What is the culture then? What do you want the culture to be? Everybody talk about the culture changing. They don't like the direction that the culture is going in, right? Me and you, lyrics and battle rap, and
But when me and you talking, we talking primarily
art.
about the music stuff, and that's different.
Right, but I'm just saying, right? Like, look at the places where we debate and people will openly be vocal about, we don't like the way battle, we don't like the way the beats, too much auto-tune. People talk about these elements of the culture.
Yeah.
But what about these elements of the culture? What about those? They don't need to change. That's all. I think it's like an elephant in the room.
No, they definitely do. I don't know. I feel like the story. I feel like the story, like, dude, would the labels even want that to happen? Not that they have anything to do about it, but I feel like the story 5 years ago would have been the labels probably don't even want that shit to change. That's why they keep getting who they keep getting, you know?
Yeah, but the culture is what made it cool in the first place. What is cool about being a gangster? Seriously. Like, this is gangster culture. This element of the culture is popular. And I get that gangster movies are popular too. Bad guys are popular. People like Scarface. I don't think that's a good thing.
As a youngster, though, as when you're growing up, it wasn't so much me, but I think even people before our era, like you said, Scarface, it's just, I think the idea of what's cool as a gangster in the old days is they seem to have money and everybody else didn't. But yeah, as we're in a 2020 world and it's like there's so many people making money off of this, it's like, I mean, right, all I gotta do is quote West Side Gun. I ain't make my first million until I start selling merch. It wasn't the bricks or anything. It wasn't any of the illegal shit. Like at this point, there's too many options that give you money.
And now it's cool to start your own platform and brand yourself and to make your own website and to start. Now that's cool, right?
Yeah.
That's the new cool thing that everybody wants to have. All of the rappers got a podcast. All of the cool people got a podcast. Where did that come from? Where does these things come from? It comes organically from somewhere. The point I was saying about it is that people made it cool. Drug dealers made it cool. Record labels didn't make that cool. They had no idea that was going on.
Yeah.
Until it becomes aware to them. People thought drug dealers were cool before. The industry only does it because they see that people think that this is cool and flashy and marketable. They didn't invent the drug dealers. They monopolize. They just tweaking the business for it. So I'm not looking at the labels for making what's cool. They find what's cool, and yeah, if it worked, they keep promoting it, and they're gonna operate as such. But Def Jam didn't make Frank Lucas popular. Def Jam and Universal didn't make Nicky Barnes popular or any of the other gangsters or Gotti. It don't even gotta be black. Like none of these people are popular because of the music industry. They just popular in our culture. Something interesting about rebels or whatever, but we got to put them in a certain place though. Now
No,
in our
I get
culture,
that. But I'm thinking of it more as a local thing, and I feel like like I remember growing up, um, and yeah, like computers aren't where they are. You know, that shit comes like when we're in grade school ish, where we start to go to the library and stuff. So probably the only influence is locally. You know, that's how I get into the hip hop and music, right? Growing up in the Bronx and Hot 97 on radio and stuff, and then the street culture there. You know, and like a lot of our friends end up going through the gangs there and whatnot. You know, but if you're growing
Was
up,
that cool stuff?
not to me, but I also wasn't
Was
a part
it
of it.
cool and
If I was
popular?
accepted, if I was in, who knows? Like I might have had a different
Not for
perspective.
you.
Yeah.
Was your perception of that stuff cool and popular?
No, but I think for other people.
No. I mean, like, was that a popular thing where we live? Not for you.
Yeah.
Was that something that was like a mainstream?
Yes. Yeah,
right?
yeah. And then the music reinforces it. But it's a feedback
But
loop.
where is it? Why is it in the music?
Because we're doing it. Because we're doing it.
This exists before rap. People are rapping about things that are happening in real life.
Yeah.
So these things are cool to rap about because the rapper thinks that is cool. Or locally, people think that drug dealers are cool. And if people start making music and then people are like, oh, this could be sellable and we're just going to keep selling this because it's popular. I'm just saying the origins of it.
Yeah.
I'm not looking at, do they perpetuate it? Yes. But who makes the narrative? Now, what I'm saying is, like you just said, smartphones are cool now. The tech is cool now, right? Like, what's cool now?
So, but I brought those up too. But I brought those up too specifically is that now, like, obviously we're not young, so I don't know what it's like to grow up in the commons now. But even if you're growing up around all that stuff, now, like, you can go home and see, oh, there's a bunch of other shit now. It's not so like, will that person make the same decisions? I don't know, but at least they have more, highways to look at, now versus before. Like that might have been the only thing. So I just meant that more as like there are more options now, but some of us clearly keep choosing the same ones, again and again.
Labels and our culture keeps perpetuating that these things are cool things.
Yeah.
They're not even put in a box of being bad. That's what I'm saying. And is that the record label's fault? Y'all keep buying it. This was right. If you keep buying this shit, don't be mad
once
at
it gets to the you keep buying part, and now it creates a feedback loop though, because now this is what you want, so now they're gonna make more of it, and then as new people from the outside who wasn't even part of this, that looks cool.
Think this is cool.
Yeah. I think because look where it gets to right during the Lil Wayne era, right? This guy reminded of me. Because that becomes the lean era, right? And all the other drugs that would come from the auto-tune rappers, the Zans and whatnot, And now we become the drug users as a rapper. We're a rap base of drug users now. We're not even the entrepreneurs anymore. We're not even rich no more. We're just fucking drug users.
I still blame the people. I still blame the individual for having a conscious choice to think.
So you mean the consumer? The consumer?
Everybody, right? I mean,
you can blame everybody. Yeah.
Ethically, then the labels are for promoting these kind of things. And if you want to get into that, but
because there's all this thing,
look,
consumers are never gonna have a real choice, That's what I'm saying.
Look, if I keep making sandwiches and y'all keep buying them, like,
so when I say what I said though, like when I said what I said about they're not gonna have a choice, that goes into that. Those theories of stuff that I don't remember how to quote them, but like people just gonna do shit. People just gonna do it. Like that general mainstream audience is just gonna be them. Look,
the crack era is over. Rap isn't even the way it was before.
Yeah.
Some of the content is still the same. The clothes are different. Some stuff comes back. It's still trendsetter stuff. It's still what I'm saying is the origin, the source of the coolness, the streets, the culture, the local places, they need to recognize that these things are not good and make other things cool. Because maybe if having a business was cool, and instead of it was drug dealers, it was the ballers on the block was doing something else, and that's what people wanted to do, and people happened to start rapping about that stuff, then maybe that would be the cool thing to do, right? Like, no one's really drug dealers, no. Like, for most, that era of drugs really being, obviously there's still drug dealers, but that era is long done. All them dudes is in jail telling old stories about that era. No one's really a kingpin no more. That level of the 80s and all of that,
the freeways and all that,
is gone.
Yeah.
Nobody's making money like that no more. They just talking about how people making money now, being creative. Yeah, they still using this content, but nobody's even really doing none of that stuff because at this point it's stupid. You can sell drugs in COVID anyway, right? Like, you came, but it's not, it don't make sense. But yeah, we still hold that drug dealers are shooting people and all this shit is still cool, even though that's not even what's making the people rich no more. The people you looking at, maybe it is for street people still doing stuff, but the people you looking at, they're not even those people no more. It's not drug dealers. It's the cool people that's making it are making their money in these different ways. So why are we still talking about these poisonous? Why is this still cool, right? And by us still thinking that this stuff is cool, it'll keep going on.
It's the feedback loop, yeah.
But it's up for us. See, but look, the labels could keep doing what they want.
But isn't some of this?
They want, but look what I'm telling you as an individual.
Yeah.
I've recognized that it's bad.
But
while I may not be able to change all of the culture, as an individual, I could acknowledge a truth.
Yeah,
that this stuff is bad. Even if I choose to still consume it, I can still acknowledge or just not and say this just isn't a good thing. Even if you enjoy it, but just be open and be like, man, I like this West Side Gun stuff, but this is ignorant and terrible. This is demonic music. It is. I listen to it.
Is that why Eminem won't tweet about it?
But if I call it any different, then I'm not being. If I say this is West Side Gun's lyrics and some other person's, King Von's lyrics are all great for the culture. These are great things that people should be listening to. This is a good message it's not. It's terrible stuff. Killing grandmothers. These are some things in the lyrics.
Yeah, I believe
Killing grandmothers, killing all kind of terrible things. These are generally not acceptable things. These are horrible, horrific Nazi shit. But it's cool. It's all right because it's part of the culture. We've been conditioned that. That's how you handle problems. Blow them the fuck away. It's twisted. It's not the music industry's fault. We the ones that showed them that. They ain't help us none. But people got some of this shit in the culture just gotta go.
Well, how do we change that, or how do we make it go?
I think it's going away. I think there'll always be criminals and shit. There'll always be a criminal culture. There's always outlaws. But I think over time, the street culture will just go away as like things improve and there's less reasons for people to be doing that stuff. Again, like today, right? Like you just said, now you could go home. There's other options now. No one's selling bricks of cocaine really, right? Like where, how, who? Security is getting better, right? Yes, cartels still exist, coke still exists, drugs still are sold, but again, that's probably not like a clear-cut way to success either. Yeah. Most of the old dudes only get a good run.
Yeah.
If they ain't dead, they gone. So it ain't really but look, there's so many more examples of that stuff. So I think it'll naturally die out in time. You know what I'm saying? I think it'll just phase itself out as people just aren't doing that no more. In the places where this stuff is coming from. There won't be drug dealers on the block no more to look up to and to talk about. So if you ain't talking about some old shit or making shit up, like what will you be talking about? But
So it's the long-term incremental game.
It's a cultural shift.
Yeah.
That has to change. That don't have nothing to do with music. It's people shit. Music is just a reflection of what's actually going on with these people.
Well,
It's
I
just an
mean, it's
expression
starting
of
to
it.
happen, right? With like, I bring this up to you all the time, but like with the Royce album, with the Big Sean album, starting to talk about, especially the Big Sean album's more important, because he's famous, like, but those are topics that are not one like you wouldn't expect those from those people originally, how they originally appeared on the scene. In particular, like maybe like Young Royce, right? Now you got him literally telling his life story on there, and Big Sean's important because I'm not saying pop star, but he's a popular rapper.
He's big.
He can create a different feedback loop of people who come up after him talking about completely different shit, And
You don't got to talk about
he
that.
rapped with a lot of these Atlanta rappers, so it's almost kind of like when I used to see Kendrick do it, and I was just really confused, like so like it's interesting to see those collabs and like to see where he goes if like maybe you'll see the actual Atlanta rappers maybe change their content in the future because I don't know them, but like
I think in time people get tired of it too. Like nobody likes this stuff. It
Yeah.
ain't good for nobody. I don't think.
I mean,
I
Kanye
wouldn't
says
say
similar
King
things
Von
about
likes
his
none
own
of the
music.
street life now.
Kanye said similar things about his own music on Joe Rogan. He's like, man, I don't even like what I did. That's just negative as fuck.
And on the flip side, I get it because it's coming from a real place. So I don't want to sound like I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
More than anything, I love looking at the ugly.
Yeah.
That's what I'm actually don't want it to be hidden. I actually want to see it all bare, but I want to see it in a proper context too. And it's not just cool. I'm okay you showing me the terrors, but just explain it in a way that's you're not selling it as good. Terror is not good, and death is not good. If these things are real, you could speak about them, but put them in a plate. Because I want to hear your story. I do want to hear the good and the bad and the ugly that happened. But you dancing around about death and all of these things is cool, and nobody ever gets hurt, and everybody's rich. It's a lie to the people. It's a disservice to the actual people that are actually doing, because that's not the reality of it.
That was one of the old man arguments for when when the newer hip hop was glamorized and everything, because their stories never had consequences. It just had rewards, It was Scarface without the last 5 minutes or 10 minutes, right? It's just like life's great forever, and we're just doing horrible shit.
And it's fake, and that's not true. But I think until people start being like, all right, like, okay, the street, the gangster, this persona that we think is cool and is the embodiment of everything to be is trash. And that's not to say you can't take the good qualities from the gangster side, right? Like criminals are supposed to have some that there's certain things from the street code which is supposed to be good. Loyalty to you. The problem is nobody follows it because it's just a toxic culture. But it's supposed to be loyal to your friends, right? Never supposed to snitch. Supposed to look out for each other. There's certain, right? Like it's a lot of self-responsibility in some of the code, right? In some of the street things that people believe. Take those elements. Not being a gangster doesn't mean you a bitch. It don't mean you soft. It don't mean you can't be somebody who's tough and hard and has grit and doesn't take shit. You can still be that and not be a killer or a criminal. You can still be cool and flashy and not have to do none of the bad things in the street. You can still have parts of that persona. I like cool, tough people. They not all killers and gangsters. Some of the toughest cutthroat. If you like that kind of alpha stuff, look at CEOs. Look at people in successful places. They don't take shit. They got grit. They hard, right? They just don't got guns and none of the stupid shit that people like. But you could see the qualities that we think are cool about gangsters. They break the rules. They don't listen to nobody. They their own boss. All of the cool things about gangsters, they get money. They people listen to them. it's a lot of other roles and titles that do the same thing the gangsters do. All the cool shit gangsters do, it's other people doing that. It's probably a software engineer that meet everything I just said. Cool, tough, got influencers, followers, getting all kind of bread, right? He just ain't shooting people. It's the only thing missing from making him a gangster, right? Is the outfit maybe, is the style and the dad shit, right? The tough, I gotta do these certain things. Other than that, right? You could just be a YouTuber and have all the things I mentioned that a gangster has. Cool, followers, influence, money, girls. You could be tough, whatever.
I think so. A lot of that too is oftentimes presented to a younger person, right? 9 times out of 10, I'd say. And a lot of those things seem, again, you know, there's more going back in time. They seem like short-term attainable versus someone maybe like a YouTuber, maybe software engineer. That seemed like some long-term shit. That must seem like you got to work hard. That seemed like, you know, time, effort.
Yeah, now drug dealing's easy.
But no, but that's the perception, all right? Drug dealing's easy. Look,
drug dealing is
and then
what?
You have real-life examples right there. You don't even got to... How many of these guys hanging on the block software engineers? But you got real life example right there, right? I can go look at one like that shit look doable. You know that shit like, so I'm gonna go do that shit, you know?
But then look at them though. But okay, you're right. But take a closer look. Take a closer
How many people take a closer look at anything?
Well,
that goes back to your thinking thing. You always think,
this is my main problem. The elephant in the room. People, how many people are looking? Now, how many of these drug dealer dudes that you see on the corner 5 years later are still there? How many of them are alive? How many of them are in jail? So again, short-term thinking, right?
Yeah.
Well, look at their career. Where these dudes end up. What happens to most of these dudes? So if you actually paying attention, you actually want what you want, it probably make more sense to do the software engineer shit just from a risk-reward perspective. Because this shit look like I might not even make it. And I gotta have to kill people. People might actually want to take me out of the game.
How many people gonna go through that thought process?
How is this easier?
As a youngster, right?
Because you young and you dumb and you don't think that I'm running a business. You're not doing nothing easy, right? Like you signing up to basically run an enterprise.
Yeah.
Selling drugs is just a product. It could be soap, it could be toys. You got to take inventory. You got to do all of the things a regular business. So the whole time and effort thing is false. The money's fast because of the margin. The product moves fast. That's where people think that it's fast, but it's still business. Just because you have a fast turnover rate from your product, don't make shit easier. Don't make it less of a business. Yeah, the money coming good, but you still got to do all of the things that a dude at the grocery store got to do. Take inventory, resupply, get product, negotiate prices. Where do you sell it? Workers, all of the things drug dealers got to do to run an empire. That's a lot of work. You a CEO now. You the Elon Musk of cocaine. You got shit to do all day. This ain't fun and easy. Enemies, the authorities looking for you. It's illegal. You ain't supposed to be doing it in the first place. So it's already wrong off of the bat. How in somebody's logical mind is this the easy path? The government is against me from the jump. Other killers and assassins. These are my roadblocks. These are the roadblocks to business. Death. E-commerce is a lot more friendly, dog. I'm telling you, just start at Etsy or eBay. Ain't nobody trying to kill you. The government ain't after you. Nobody's surveilling you. You don't have to worry about who to trust, right? That seemed easy. That's a lot. It's an illusion.
That was a long deep dive on it. Like again, like I don't know if the youngsters doing that. That being said, in a world where you can Google, like I could envision some people like Googling literally pros and cons of both e-commerce versus drug dealing. So it's not unrealistic to fathom that now, I think.
It takes work. Drug dealing ain't something I'm gonna hump into it and be the next fly nigga and doing all kind of whatever you think you're gonna be doing. That ain't how drug dealing works. So again, But everything looked like that though, Abraham. I mean, Boosh.
It don't matter.
You should bleep that. Should I bleep it out?
No, I don't care.
I want
you
you to
gonna
no,
bleep it out? How you gonna? You don't even edit this
Can
shit.
you bleep?
Like,
yeah, no. Can you bleep it out?
What?
Can we have that be like your code? Like, we don't say our real names.
I mean, like, it's too late because I feel like I said yours like an episode or two ago. Like,
we got to start bleeping it if we do. That's gonna be a thing.
Really?
It's a gimmick.
You gonna make me work?
Just it's a bleep. Come on, man. It's just a little. All right. Anyway, what were we saying though? What'd you say? I don't even remember.
You was talking about pros and cons of Google, Googling versus basically you were going on the easiness of being a drug dealer, you know?
It's
not. It's not. It's hard.
Isn't that what everything?
Yeah, everything appears
we see
easy
from the outside perspective, right?
Yeah. That Michael Jordan stuff.
You could be an artist. You could be a rapper. It's looking at the dude on everybody that's doing it.
Yeah,
of course it. Some shit.
I was about to say that Anderson Silva shit look easy, but honestly, it don't. It don't.
Because the narrative of being a chemist or an engineer is, I gotta go to school. It's already quantified for you. That's why the path is already clear. Well, that's gonna take 4 years of me reading and studying.
This might lead into a tangent real quick.
And fucking terrible.
This might lead into a tangent. But all those cool things, especially that we gravitate to in the hood, I think a lot of times we gravitate to them because they're not. Those paths are not set out. Like if there was a set out path, like it might scare some people more away, you know? That like the victory isn't promised, or just like all the hard work, man, you gotta attain your fan base on your own. It's for anything, like basketball, like
that's a lot. But think of the illogicality of it. Yeah, an uncharted, unknown path is the less risky one. The one that I don't even know what it is.
No, but there's light at the end of the tunnel. So people are just
there's also light at the end of the tunnel if you become a software engineer.
Yeah, but there's light. See, the thing with the software engineer is there's no tunnel. The whole path has light on it. So I see all of it. Ooh, this doesn't look too sexy. When you're looking at like the fantasy one, artist, whatever.
You only see the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, that should look sexy because I don't see all the. It's an RPG where I just see the land. The darkness is there. It's like
you don't see none of this.
That you victory there. Yeah. You don't see the work. Same thing. That's what's going on.
With the school thing, you got to do this. Yes. You see the work, like you said.
That's what I was trying to say. If people if those paths were maybe more not as because they're so versatile, like all those paths. Like, but if all those paths maybe did have a fine road that this is what you got to do, maybe not as many people would try them. Like, oh shit, that's what it takes to be.
It's still nonsensical though.
What?
So like, okay, I see this ultra cool rich person. I don't know how they got there, but I'll give it a shot because it's probably easy, right? Like, whoa, I could do it too. Let me become
so ultra
cool. Engineer. But look, you got clear. All you got to do is read these books and do this. You just get the certification. And look, these people you could start building it yourself with this skill. You don't actually have to go do nothing. But look, you just do 1, 2, and 3, right? Whoa. And that leads me where? Oh, I could build the matrix. No. Sounds like, why do you think people think like that?
Because
what happens when they get into it and see how hard it is to actually be a successful artist or anything for that matter, because being good at anything ain't easy if it's worth a damn. They don't want to do it no more. It's too hard. Then they want to go back to the shit that had the clear path and they mad at that shit.
I can see the ultra cool, rich, famous person. For some of those success stories, like an engineer, a lot of those now in 2020 is more of them to look at, but a lot of them you don't see, and the ones you do see, right, are always the epic owners, right? Whether it's an Elon Musk or Zuckerberg, right? It's always these extreme cases. And even though there's a lot of in between in there, I think a lot of people might see that, well, that shit's really hard. Be Elon Musk, they don't think like just be an engineer. They probably, because again, there's light on those spots. There's not like light emanating on Oh, engineer number 466. I could do that. You know, like that seems attainable. You know.
So what do you? So my again, I understand. Look, I'm under the impression that people ain't always right. Like, you know, maybe being the sharpest, I guess. But if you, this is all I say. I'm a big proponent of thinking and like being forward thinking. If you truly want to be a drug dealer or Elon Musk or Engineer 455 or the next little whoever, it will, and you see the image that you want. You see the light. Wouldn't it make sense to find out, well, what does it take to get to that light? Right? What does it take to get to the NBA? What does it take to get to the NFL and be Michael and be whatever football player? What does it take to be a rapper? What's the work that gets put in? Look into what these people do. Are they all chanting that, man, this rap shit is the easiest thing ever? You should just come on, hop on, make an album. Everybody gets rich instantly. Is that what that's what people are pumping? That's what people are telling people? This is just a clear shot to fucking victory, dog. Just start pumping out song. No one is saying this. No, that's not how it works. So why would people go into something and then just not even look into it to come up with any real expectations of how to get there?
I
You know what
noticed. I
that tells
noticed.
me?
I noticed.
You know what it tells me?
What does it tell?
You don't actually want to get to the light. You like the way it looks, but you don't want it enough. You just want the, you know, and look, the way you described it is perfect. People just see the cake at the end.
Yeah.
And that's all that they want. Nobody even wants to look at the tunnel. Nobody even wants to see that shit. You just teleport to success and as easy as possible. And that's, yeah, get in line. I wish I could teleport to fucking the Emperor of Earth too. Don't work like that. And I don't think that's even a position yet.
Yet. It's going.
You feel me? Yet. You see the different, right? See how I'm thinking about it? Words got meaning, right?
There was you mentioned just pumping. It just kind of triggered like a word because I was like, well, I feel like 2 Chainz and Russ are kind of saying, actually, if you do just put out a song, like eventually it will work.
You know
out.
what I mean? Though.
Yeah, no, I get it.
No, but what they're promoting is to just do the work, to go ahead and start the process of it, and you'll get it.
And with the irony of them making it as public, people still don't do it. People still don't do it.
You know why?
I'm guilty of it too. You know, I'm guilty.
You know why?
Why?
In your case is different, in a sense.
Yeah.
But it's because you really don't want that much. You might want something else.
Yeah.
And you think that that's what you want. That looks like it's what you want. And if it actually was, you would do your damnedest to try to get to it. But if you don't, then maybe it means that really you don't want that. Maybe you want something else. You think that's representative of it. So why would a celebrity or anybody that's famous or has money be? Why? Because you got money. You don't got to worry about nothing. You, to anybody looking at this, the average person or worse off, poor people or anything, all their problems in their mind will probably be alleviated by switching places with you because you got money, you have all the things that other people don't think. And so do you really want those things or do you just want certain feelings at ease, right? Like what are there other actual things bothering you that you're seeking out money and things to satisfy? Or do you just really want to be the illest MC? The most famous artist, the best songwriter? Do you want to chart the billboards? Because people who really want to do that or even really want to be rich, and they don't give a hell what the hell they got to do. They're going to go and do it. They're going to rap, find a way, build a thing, whatever, if they really want to. But if you don't, I got to assume.
And that's how you end up with a lot of these people
actually want to do.
Like crazy How I Made It stories, and they all sound all movie-like because people did do whatever they had to do. Yeah.
It's all tough for everybody's story, right? They grinding, they had to keep going. They wanted it. And everybody's story, what do you hear? Hunger. They wanted it. They had setbacks, failures, dark times. But what they kept doing, they kept going for it. Bad things happen. It's not always a straight shot to coolness, but the people that eventually get there is because they really wanted to get there, not just because they saw something cool and shiny and was like, I want that. Let me do a half-ass attempt at getting it because I think it's easy, or you think whatever the case. Like, nah. Anything you see people at the top probably took something to get, probably took some type of work to get. So what do people really want then? So when I hear, so to bring it back to what we were saying before, is just the way people think about stuff. It's like people's thinking is off. Culturally, thinking gangsters is cool is off. Thinking that you can't do certain things to get somewhere, and then on a deeper personal level, right? Like answering questions like, as a culture, what do we want? As a person, what do you want? What do you expect? What are you trying to do? Or you just want that. Some shit you don't even know anything about. Some shiny shit off in the mountains that look cool. You want that. You don't know nothing about what you.
That shit make me laugh because I feel like I've done that shit. I feel like I said that shit make me laugh because I've done that shit. You just want some shiny shit. You just
wanted some shiny thing off in the mountains. Don't even know what it is. It just look cool. Everybody say it's cool.
Yeah.
And it's not gonna be what you think it is either. For those who actually get there, you often find that it's not what you thought it was when you were looking at it from down on the mountain. When you finally get there, the view's different. Some good, some bad. Maybe some things aren't quite what you expected it to be. But if you don't got no like, what do you? It's nuts. It's almost just like being like almost like not like jealous, but just like I almost look at it in that like you don't really want that. You just want what you think that person has. You just want what that person. You don't want to be that. You don't want to be that. You don't want to be that. You just want to have that stuff. You're not trying to put in what it takes to become that greatness. You just want the benefits of it for whatever reason. But if that shit ain't true, guess what? Good luck getting it.
The bars. I feel like that should just be the episode.
Anybody got a work-free way to ultimate success and richness? Please message us. Email us the secret.
First thing that came to mind when you said that was, here, the Napoleon Hill book, How to Think Rich, right?
Yeah, I mean, if the secret's in there, send me that book too. I would think this book is flying like hotcakes.
I'm pretty sure you read it already. I'm pretty sure you read it.
Yeah, it probably ain't the secret people looking for, right?
It's not.
You know what though?
Yeah.
It is, but it isn't. But
yeah. It's not the easy button. It's not the easy button. It's a mindset.
Ain't no easy button.
Yeah.
You know what the crazy shit is? And this is narrative shit. It actually, I don't want to say it's easy, but conceptually, it's self-contained. You don't need nothing for it to begin.
The self-narrative.
Yeah, and your brain. It's all here. You can change it. You can start it. You could go back. You could go forward.
Campbell
you
style.
You can do whatever with
Campbell
it.
style.
It is easy.
Campbell style.
It's like driving a car. You got to learn how to drive it first.
Yeah.
And the roads can be dangerous. But driving's fairly easy, right? Once you get the hang of it. It's not as difficult as it seems. People make it difficult in their heads, and so it's hard to be successful. No, it just takes hard work. You want to see that it's hard and then all right, yeah, it's that too. But why is that the narrative around success too? It's this battle.
That's why I don't like the term hard work. I don't like that term. I don't like that term at all. Because I feel like people say hard work. Well, one, like that may be the narrative they tell themselves. Like I just heard Jay Leno talk. He always talks about comedy's hard work for him. In that he just puts in a lot of hours. But I feel like usually we only describe things as hard work. Usually when we may be doing things we don't want, even if it does take work. Like we don't want to do. Because like I can mix a track or whatever the fuck, and sure it's hard, or I might spend hours or whatever. But it's like, I put in a bunch more hours. But it's like it's something I sort of like to do. Like it's not my favorite part, the mixing
But
part.
on the street, you
yeah.
ain't a nobody unless you put that work in. Got to put that work in, right?
I don't know. We probably just need a better word for it.
No, but it's framing. It is.
Yeah,
it
yeah,
is
yeah.
framing. It don't have to be hard work. It could be me bending reality, right?
It's not
I don't
even.
know.
I like
Call
the
it whatever
idea
you
of
wanna
bending
call it.
reality, or whatever it be, or manifestation. Even the famous idea of 10,000 hours, right? Is not bad because it doesn't say hard work. It just says, Joe, just put in this time. That seems very attainable. Just do it. The Nike thing, right? But
In my mind, this is all like some big military. In my head, it's like the Pentagon going on. I'm running a global operation. I suppose it's work, but I view it as like, me and my James Bond villain operations center. So it's not like work like that. And I feel like I'm ill too. Like I feel like the stuff I do works. It gets the stuff done. Like, you know what I'm saying? And what's wrong with hard work? Like, what's wrong with working hard? Like putting effort, because that's all it means. What is work is energy spent.
Put in effort.
Hard work implies
sounds.
you. No, I know
I
what you're
prefer that
saying.
word. I prefer that word.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
I agree with what
No,
you're
I get it.
saying.
I know you do.
But look, that's because of a conditioning that we even work, man. And
That's
nobody wants to
because the
spend energy.
definitions of the word for society have changed. Or at least the general definition of work is something you don't want to do, not putting in effort into whatever. I had
you
this.
got to change that.
Yeah,
I work for me, homie.
Yeah, or you could just use the other word. You could just use the other word.
The word is irrelevant.
Yeah,
it's
it
just
is.
whatever it means to you.
Yeah,
it's what it means to you. So if you so stuck on work meaning what it people have meant us to, have been the definition for it, then remove it and use another word. I don't, or just don't even look at it in turn like I work. I don't know, I'm making my dreams come true. I work, whatever fucking word you feel like using for it. Have at it.
I'm banging the muffin.
I'm getting shit done. Know what I'm saying?
Banging the muffin.
Grinding. Slaying. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Grind didn't make me think of clips, but then that takes us all the way back to drug dealing again.
Grinding sound worse than working. I'm grinding away. Like gears. But I say that all the time.
Gears and shit. You know what grinding make me think when I think grinding away? It make me think of knees. My knees rubbing on it. That's the cartilage is gone. The cartilage is gone.
That's exactly. We on the same. I don't like grinding. I don't like that. That sounds like arthritis.
Boom, 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 boom.
Look at that song. Yeah, no. Grinding sound hard. Like that shit sound terrible.
Grinding on those voices they used to do.
Yeah, but you gotta, that was a tangent off from whatever we were on.
Nah, that should just be the whole podcast right there. Just
changing.
This is one topic.
Yeah, it always spins out of control. We got to start. I think the sum of that is we got to start telling ourselves new narratives and start thinking about just a lot of
I
asked things.
This already, but I mean, how do we start? How does the culture start doing that? I feel like most positive.
But I mean, you talking about it and exposing the idea of this to somebody. Because to your point earlier, on the block, there's only drug. So you see, all you have is what you see. So the problem was, right? There's no software engineers on the block to tell you about their path. You only have the things that you have available to see. So it's only until you leave the Bronx or you see other things, or we go to a school and we learn certain things that maybe other people aren't learning, you get exposed to new ideas, new thoughts, new perspectives, new stories of people figuring out how to do things, maybe things you want to do, maybe in ways you never even thought of doing them. So the best way to change it is for people to start talking about changing the idea and thinking differently. Talk about a software engineer.
Put it out, speak it into the world.
Talk about being an independent artist. And that, yeah, it's hard. It takes time to get a following, but you could do it. Put those things out there for people. If they're not thinking, if you can't think of it, maybe you're lucky enough to stumble upon somebody else who did, right? And then you could do something with the thought if it's not original from you, right? Or you could think of it yourself. I love listening to people's perspectives, and because I don't think like everybody. Sometimes it's interesting. I think most people are a little off. Generally, I'm very distasteful. People are very distasteful, disgusted by the lot of you, the bunch of you. But I still like hearing perspectives because I might hear something that I never heard before. I didn't know existed. I didn't know it was possible. I might hear that from somebody.
I want you to run for like a government position. I'm disgusted by the lot of you.
Disgusted by the lot of you. Yeah.
That could be like the slogan.
Disgust me. But I still like to hear y'all.
That's the whole slogan. Disgusted by the lot of you, but I still like to hear y'all.
I like to hear from y'all. Even the disgusting ones, because I might be able to learn. You might show me something. So, right, the best way to get the culture to change is if people aren't coming to these things themselves and thinking about it, then maybe we got to show them. I don't know if people just woke up organically and was like, you know what, I want to be a drug dealer. Selling cocaine is the way to... I think people saw that. People, and they saw reasons to do that. And there were examples to do this. There's examples of people becoming rappers. There's examples of these different things, but there's no examples of no one from our building that becomes an engineer or builds a real estate empire or does a startup or, right, like does any other random thing than, right, like we didn't have those ideas. So if I'm not thinking of it, how am I gonna, I don't know what I don't know. So the best way is to educate people, tell people, this ain't the only thing you have to do. Just talk about thinking differently. Hey, is there something else? Just ask a motherfucking question. Like, God damn, like, people just got to use their heads. But I think discussions like this, right? If anybody watches this and hears it, maybe they'll be like, maybe I'll start thinking differently. Because you know how I start thinking differently about stuff? I didn't come to these things all myself. Might have been a book I read, something somebody told me, right? It came from also people exposing me. The whole idea of manifestation, law for trap. I didn't think of that. I read somebody's book, somebody else's thoughts on that, exposed me to that. That's how I grow. It's from other people sharing their experiences. It ain't all done by myself. You know what I mean? But that's the best way, right? Like, telling somebody like, hey, there's other shit. Think about it. Ask questions at the very least, right? That's what I suggest. As long as people keep doing that, things will get shaken up. And some people will start thinking differently.
Moving forward.
We are.
What the culture like in 20 years?
So it won't be like this. I don't know.
Yeah, it's too hard to predict what's success because it's going to reflect society. And if we can't even predict society, how can you predict the culture?
Yeah, I couldn't tell you what it'll look like. But I don't believe it'll be, I think it'll be different. I think it'll be the things that I don't think gangster and street stuff will be as popular in 20 years. Not in the sense that it is now. I think some things are dying and dying off. So, but I couldn't, that's real tough to say. But the election, is that where we're at now?
I mean, I guess it's not like I know too much about it.
You don't want to? What happened?
It's the main thing. But those were the two present things.
You want to talk about it or no?
Oh, we can. But I don't know.
Do you want to?
Let's
Do
do
you
it.
want
Let's
to
do
talk
it.
to what the people?
Let's
What
do
you
it.
got? We can keep it short. What you want to say about it? Go ahead. Tell me. You want to talk about it? You got something on your chest.
No, man, dude. If I,
Tell me how you feel. What's
dude,
going
the
on?
most excited thing I was about to tell you today for me, Scarlet Witch. But I'll leave that for later. That might be a
Tell me
rumor.
what you want to tell me. What happened with the election? What happened?
No, it's kind of funny. Well, it's not even funny. It's just like just seeing how things are going, right? I was just checking Google to see if we finalized results yet, because that shit do be happening, but not yet. Um, but it was funny yesterday. I heard some of Trump what he was talking, right? I texted you some quotes, but what I didn't know until because for better or worse, my primary election coverage outside of checking Google for results has been a click in and out of these two people on Twitch who their main content is politics. So I just like, oh, this is their Christmas, so I'm just curious what type of content they'll generate, you know? Hassan in particular has been like one literally if he ain't number one, he's the number two stream on Twitch. And I was like, that was pretty surprising. He's upgraded to 45,000 subscriber base during this time, you know, like did the math. That's a nice check coming his way. But what I saw, so yeah, I saw he was talking. I was like, I ain't really like care because a lot of that stuff is boring. But when I click in later on, I saw the highlights and I saw it on Hassan's channel, and Trump is talking, and this was surprising to me. They, the CNNs and MSNBCs of the world, but I think it was the CNN channel. They just cut him off, and then they put one of their anchors to talk, and they was like, yeah, so we're gonna stop this now, and it's something along the lines of like, cause he's just saying a lot of not true shit, and I was like, I just found that like so interesting. I was like, it just felt like, all right, Biden is probably gonna win, so now you motherfuckers are just like, all right, we don't gotta acknowledge him no more or give him any, and I was like,
he's still the president technically.
it did that, but it was also like it looked like they were just waiting for the green light to kind of just do stuff like that. And I was like, well, you guys are already like anti-Trump. I was like, where was that the whole 4 years? You know, like why are you guys just waiting for the green light now? Because now it looked like, you know, we just quote from us before, a light at the end of the tunnel, right? He's like this close to winning Biden, right? And I was like, man, it just looked like, okay, like he about to lose. Now we only gotta like, we can just literally, because they were literally just said like verbatim, like some, like, not verbatim because I don't remember any quotes, but they literally is like, all right, he's doing a press conference now, but he's just claiming a bunch of inaccurate, not true shit. And I was like, that was an immediate call out. It's not like a factual call out like Jon Stewart and friends do. Like it's just literally as he's still talking on the conference, just like, yeah, this guy's telling bullshit. And this is from CNN. I've never seen that before. And I was like, that's live. That's literally live shit. Motherfucker just said no. He just told him no. I'm like, that's crazy. I'm not used to seeing that. I just found that intriguing. And also,
I don't like that from an information point of view.
Yeah,
because I'm always worried the person that's trying to tell me what I should listen to, as opposed to the person that's just like, all right, like I think this is bullshit, but go ahead and take a look and make a decision for yourself, right? Like let him get his stuff off, and then at the end of it, you could make a face like, what I tell you.
They did
right?
it
just
in the
said
middle.
A bunch of crap, right?
They did it in the middle.
I don't know why y'all watched it.
There's been a lot of this going on right now because there was a conference in Phoenix. Some lady, so you know, all the Democrats, Republicans, right? This day Christmas, right? So they all on. So I guess some lady in charge of probably counting or voting or you know, high level Republican was like, look, man, I don't know what's going on in Arizona, but she's saying basic things like there's still a chance that Trump can win, right? Arizona. And she's like, she said, I was very angry at Fox News for saying that Biden won Arizona. And then she proceeds to call them fake news. And I was like, wait, isn't that like Fox News' thing on all these other people? And I'm like, wait, so now if like Fox News is being called fake news by a Republican person, I'm like mega confused because that means all the networks now are
Well, there's
fake
no
news.
right. And
So
so,
I
yo,
was
look,
like, wait,
and
the people
sometimes
on your side turn on you, and now they're all bad. I was like, wait,
and
what?
sometimes they slip up and they give up too much truth. So you got to be sharp enough.
Okay, and
Like you just
real quick, and I'll let you go because you said slid up. I believe Brent Byer today. I don't know if this is a slip up or not. He did mention in the same sentence.
president-elect.
Yes, you saw that from Fox News, the
Nah, I
only
see,
network
yeah.
to say that, the only network to say that. And I'm like, I'm just mad confused as what's going on right now. Versus, so if you read that, then you probably read in that same article that all the other ones have been instructed. The CNNs of the world have been
To
instructed.
not do that.
Yeah, and I found that kind of interesting too. I just was like, but now go
Right.
go on.
What information's accurate, news people?
Mm.
Right? Right?
Google has
What's
different.
fake?
I'm
Everybody's fake.
I'm playing it lazy because I just type election results and Google, I guess, gives me what I believe is the AP. But if I look at what Hassan and Amy on Twitch are watching, they're into it. So they're going on a website. I'm like, well, Google says this number of votes, and but I always look at what they're looking at, and it's completely different numbers. And
Nah.
I'm like, what?
I don't know. I know a lot of people. For me, this stuff is less about those two characters
Yeah.
and more about
I ain't even mentioned them
thinking.
really, yeah, being about it. It was more about just the media, really. It was crazy.
It's more about thinking. And I know this weighs a lot for a lot of people. It pulls on a lot of emotional strings, but I just think people just missed a lot of nuances to stuff. And it's not to say that Trump wasn't acting, did a lot of stuff that, reasonably pissed people off for sure.
Yeah.
But I think there was some gaffling going on, and I think people went for the narrative. People went for the gangster gaffle. People went
Real
for the
quick, what's
lie that
gaffling mean?
God just fool you.
Okay.
Gaffle you. You go for
Fugazi stuff.
Slang.
Yeah.
You go. You fell for the trick, and it's the street trick. It's the narrative that's told for you, the one that you never told to think outside of, the one that you never told to look at a little bit different. Is there anything beyond this? Or is this really good? Is the drug dealer life good? Is it? Are the things they've been doing good? So I think people want things to be better. I don't think it's as racist as the world is in a worse place. I think a lot of things have happened that make people feel like that. But me and you have had the luxury to not live through World War I, the Great Depression, World War II. Could you imagine living during those 30, 40-year period? Right?
No, yeah.
I don't think I want to be in the 70s and maybe get drafted to something maybe you didn't even agree with. And things were much more racist.
And you know what I was gonna say? What I take for granted is that we're minorities, so our life
if you
probably
go
really
back too
sucked.
far,
Yeah,
there's nothing. It's really, really bad, right? So, yeah, I'm cool though. I think, however it lands, I think a lot of good was done. I think a lot of people, whether I agree with their stuff, it got a lot of people thinking about differently. It exposed a lot of the government on both sides of the shenanigans.
I was
gave
surprised.
us a whole new look.
You mentioned people thinking.
Take at this.
I was surprised more people voted in this election than ever before. I didn't expect that. Especially.
Well, they were promoting it like crazy too. So,
but I know in a COVID world, I just really didn't expect this would be the year that we get the maximum.
People was hyped up over this, but
all those things I always told you about, right? Why does Twitch want me to vote? Facebook want me to vote? Amazon want me to vote? I guess maybe those notifications do work,
Yeah.
Like you said, you might not click the banner. Someone's clicking that banner though. You've checked your pixels. Someone's clicking the banner.
Right. I think humanity generally, kind of naturally works towards being better.
Yeah.
And I know it doesn't always appease everyone in every given moment in time. That looks different for different people, different places. But generally, I think all people want to make things better, and those that don't, something's wrong with them. Like not in like a bad sense, but like they probably need some type of help, and they probably have like an issue or stuff like that. So, yo, whatever people get, if Biden wins, and y'all want to go back to the status quo, I mean, it's two old white dudes again. So how much envelope pushing are we really doing? How much change and diversity did people really ask for, right? People tweak out after having a black president for 2 terms, tired of the establishment, votes in this dude. This is what got this dude in, mind you.
What, the Obama?
This establishment is what gets this person everyone's proclaiming to be, or some people are proclaiming to be a madman. This is how he gets here.
Oh, you mean wait,
people
Biden?
Are tired of that. Just to establish. No, Trump gets elected because people are tired of
Obama.
The established. No, it just was the
just the general politician.
This was something new, right?
Got you.
This guy's not from here. He talking crazy. He's new people. He's talking differently, so people go for it. Now this ain't people's flavor. So what's the solution? To go back to this the dudes that was doing, were they doing that before? Like when he calls them out, I'm like, well, what were you doing here before? It's a good call out. Yeah. What is people's expectation of Biden if he wins? We all kind of know what we expect Trump to do, right? To kind of keep on doing what he's doing.
I think the expectation.
But what do people think Biden's going to do?
It's really bad, right? But the expectation is probably, it's not Trump.
Not as bad as Trump.
It's just not Trump.
What he did. No plan.
No matter what, that'll be the narrative, not just sold, but probably just told, you know? Just because we're not going to pay attention to it no matter what. Even if you want to pay attention to it, you can't. You know why? Because Biden won't be tweeting the fuck out of it every day. So even if you want to monitor it,
right?
Yeah, even if you want to monitor it, you can't, you know?
So one of the things is... a few things. One, you get what you ask for. So whatever happens is what, right? Like, I guess we want it. That's what the system got. Good, worse, or ugly. We still the stewards of the freedom here, regardless of who's president. We're not bound by none of them things. Our duty is to defend the freedoms in place that we set up here. However, people may disagree on what those are, right? At the end of the day, that's what we really should all do for all people, right? All people's rights here, whatever. Damn, you had said something. I almost lost it. I forgot what I was going to say.
Was it politics stuff? What I just said before?
Huh?
Was it the politics stuff we've been talking about?
Yeah, you said something. That'll be the narrative. Damn, I don't remember.
That's the narrative that we're gonna tell regardless, because he won't be tweeting about it. Like, so we can't even look at it even if we want to. Was it that part? I don't know.
Right. Oh, yeah. So it's funny, right? We talk about change on many levels, and we had a separate discussion about change being painful sometimes, right? Or healing being painful. The cure is worse than the disease, right? Change is never fun. It's friction. It could be painful. It's disruptive. Most people don't like change, even when they want it. But the process of it is what people don't like. People, right? They just want to be. They don't want the transformation to be the famous person.
Yeah.
They just want to be the famous person. They don't want to go through none of the changes for that to happen. They don't want to do none of the work to make the changes, right? So it's crazy. People are hollering for change. You get change, it's uncomfortable. And I know people are, people are going to just say that wasn't change. That was, whatever the hell. But right, nonetheless, it's a change and it's uncomfortable. Not all of it was bad. I think it'd be unfair to say that, but it's uncomfortable. Look what happened. Back to the old way. Back to the old way, right? Look, just another example, right? Even in the music industry, it seemed, and I might not be fair, it seemed like there's a period where like the older acts aren't doing things. The game is kind of taken over by, right, like the newer people. There's like they're not doing this, but at a certain time, right, they adapt to the change. The change was uncomfortable. Some people didn't even want to make it.
Now you got Busta
I
Rhymes
don't
on
want to do
808s.
this.
Now
How
you
do I
got
fit in? How do I write? It's uncomfortable. Some people stay away. Now people, they okay with it. It wasn't that bad. I can still be me.
Yeah.
You gotta accept the change. You gotta, right? Like that's something that even me and you as just listeners had to like. Otherwise, what? I'm gonna just be uncomfortable all of the time and angry and fearful. And oh my God, it's not the way that I like it. But right, we want the envelope to be pushed. We want things to grow and progress. So they're gonna change. But if you scared of change, then what do you want? But look at people's reaction to something different. And again, I understand the counters that could be there, all of those things. But nonetheless, people be like, this is absolutely not the change we wanted. And I think if you dig into it, people, I don't know, it's interesting nuances to the conversation. But people did not like change at all, is what I'm saying. Nobody. People are now, well, a great portion of the people, they want it to look something like it did before, yet we were claiming that that's not a good thing. What America do we want to go back to? What America are we trying to make great again? Are we trying to go back to an America that's not the one that
shouldn't
they're
even be
talking
trying
about?
to go back. We shouldn't
Where
even
we
be trying to go.
go?
Yeah. That's a better question.
Where are we trying to take things, right? But change is uncomfortable. So change is happening, but it's clearly uncomfortable. And you know what I think that's visible in? Is in the polarization. I think the change is already done. I think what we'll see in the next 4 years and in the future, it will be the shift of maybe a change in the country and how people think. Where it lands, I don't know. But this polarization, one, it was made up and that there was narratives pushed to kind of divide people too. But the change has made the uncomfortable. The friction is here. The change has already occurred to some degree. And now we're dealing with the uncomfortability of the changes that people are saying they want. And these things maybe happen, right? People want these things for this group. People want to change values that people had. People want these things now, all these changes. By the way, nobody's asking for nothing new. Nobody's asking for nothing that's not already technically written. We just maybe should enforce the things a little bit better. But nobody's even asking for nothing revolutionary. Everybody want to be free to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. They just feel like something's stopping them from getting it. But whatever changes, things are changed and the uncomfort is seen. What we're changing to, I don't know. But change has happened. But I remain positive on people strive to do good, I think, more than evil in general. I like to think, as wicked as I just said, I'm disgusted with a lot of you beasts. But, I still have some faith in humanity. You know what I mean? That the proof is in the pudding, though. Like, we got a history of doing real bad stuff. And we got a history of like doing real good stuff and slowly improving things. So I'm always on the good guys team. Like, we'll figure it out. You know what I mean? We'll work it out.
On that note, I'm gonna go use the bathroom.
Yeah, I'm about to ad-lib this joint dolo. Yeah, I'm taking over this shit. All right, this is the Kaiser segment. All right, I mean, crazy times, crazy things going on. Yeah, I just always think people just look a few layers past the surface and take in different information. And ultimately, you're free to think whatever you want and conclude whatever you feel like. And I think that's fine. But I think it's fine if you arrive at that after actually thinking about stuff and you really have points and some logic to that kind of stuff. Otherwise, it's just fucking nonsense.
What are you talking about?
I had a little segment called the hat. Know what I mean?
Oh shit! So I can leave this in here.
Intermission segment.
So I can
my hat broke. Yeah, I let my hat break down some knowledge to him. You know what I mean?
I was like, what?
I let my hat break down some things for the people.
So you mentioned cool. So when I
you
edit
like
this,
so
I'll get because I'll get to hear this later. That way, because you know I hear a lot of this. I probably don't need to hear these again but I'm used to my old editing style. But at least this will be a new part because normally I wander off. I usually like watch like walking videos or highway videos or drift videos, like car videos in Asia or something, like people driving really fast on the Autobahn, just random shit because I just need to hear this. But I can't really, I need to be attentive enough that I can hear it, but I don't want to do something else and then now I just have it playing for no reason, like
right.
So yeah, it'll be a new section for me to hear. But you mentioned the doing good and bad, and we'll figure it out. And I probably I don't know if we'll get to talk about it this time because I did want to do one more thing on the election, but it just reminded me I saw the Snowden movie, which I didn't even know there was one, but it popped up on Netflix, and Oliver Stone did it. But you know who was in it? Nicolas Cage in a real movie.
Boy.
But he's a side character, and what he's playing? He's playing, almost like
Nick Cage is Nick Cage.
He's playing, basically, I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming his character is real. Maybe I should look him up. But like, essentially, for the purposes, he is playing Nick Cage, but for the purposes of the movie, he's playing the Snowden that wasn't. He's playing like in terms of how you write a movie. So he's like the genius before Snowden that is another genius, right? Who also ran into his own like issues, and now his punishment is he gets to teach people, So he's only has a small role in it, but it was just mad funny because I was like, I know he's playing like this CIA dude, but I'm like, it sounds like this is the actor parallel. It just seemed like the secret agent version of like what Nick Cage is doing in real life, Like, well, I used to be this guy.
This agent got like, get it, yo. You can only teach the CIA classes, yo. You got too much debt. We can't trust you with this.
It's cool to see him in a real movie, and not only in a real movie where he's also live action, because he's been in real movies throughout the years, but they're always voice acting for whatever reason. So it was cool.
I like Nick Cage.
Yeah, he's dope. I don't know why he can't be prolific in real movies, like why he needs to be prolific in these.
He'd be wilding
in these Steven Seagal movies.
He'd be having castles.
But that's
an
easy tangent.
Tigers.
I want to take it back to the politics because
some people can't handle that. This dude's nuts.
But
they can't handle Trump. You want them hiring Nick Cage? You see his track record, but move on.
I'm not gonna say stuff because that will be a topic. But like, I feel like Bill Maher was probably one of the first people to make this popular, but in the last month and a half, it became a more pop culture topic. But Bill Maher always used to put in the idea, right? And it's always be careful what you wish for, right? He just kept speaking it into the universe, but he always put forth the idea, what you gonna... Now I'm thinking of Hulk Hogan's phrase, what you gonna do when the Hulkster runs on you? But he's like, what you gonna do when Trump loses? And then he's like, well, I'm not leaving, right? Because I think as part of that conference, he did start the process of initiating the courts and the judges, that he's done stuff with or hired or whatever the professional word they use is for hire. So, doing the courts do whatever nonsense they were going to do for voting, right? And it was just mad. I don't know. It's not something I actually laugh about, but I was like, oh shit, this is all the stuff he always talked about. And this is like step one in that process.
Here it is.
So it was interesting to see that. And how far will that go? I don't know. But I almost feel like the next step will be triggered whenever, all right, the way right now it looks, Biden's going to win, right? So whenever Biden does win, like officially, and it's not just this, he's probably going to win talk, I think the next step will be triggered there. But I believe in the conference also, he said he ain't got no plans of conceding shit, So like, he didn't say shit though, But you know how he talked.
He say he fighting to the end.
Yeah, he ain't conceding nothing. So I mean, I think it will be. He mentioned the idea it might even end up in the highest court in the land. He didn't want to say Supreme Court, but I think he said it. I just put in a member there. There might be some Supreme Court action in here. I don't know.
I mean, people could not like it and be like, "Oh, this guy! Like, of course he would do this. Like, get out of here already!" Right? Like, that's probably the feeling. But I mean. Could you be mad at that? These lawsuits apparently are part of the process, or they wouldn't be able to be filed in the first place. Recounts or things. So if you going all out to make sure this is actually what happened, I can't be mad at that, especially if you really think these things are at stake, and if you really think, for those that believe he really is passionate about and doing the things that people that like him say he's doing, then like. He's gonna right as long as when it comes and they're like, look, this is actually what it is, that he's still not trying to do nothing. In the meantime, he's still doing what's within the law from our understanding. So he's trying to fight for the win. Who's gonna be mad at that? Stopping the clock, doing all sorts of strategies to try to,
I think
it's a tight game.
Given his personality, of course he was going to do that. But number two is, I think stuff like that isn't the default. I think, right, for that position, right? It was. I don't remember the president that ran for the third term, but right, some of those rules is unwritten in the streets, right? And then you look at this guy run for the third term, and it's like, yo, who the fuck are you? If Washington ain't run for 3, why can you? And and then people get mad, you can't be better than Washington. That's bullshit. And then you write laws to stop that from happening again. Why? I don't know. Which, damn, that gives me another thing I wanted to mention. But you mentioned recount. And what was interesting in hearing some of the talk, right? A lot of people, all right, obviously the media is more like, man, why are you mad at people counting? Because it looked like you're going to lose, Trump, right? But what was interesting is, like, I don't really remember any of the quotes, but like from the way people talking, it almost seemed weird, both sides when they talk about it, like, because the Republicans are losing, right? So they're like, they make it seem weird, like, why are we counting all 100%? As the language they use implied, like, yo, we never count 100%. So like, why are we counting it now? And I was like, it just sounded interesting. Like,
some of the little slips come out sometimes. They tell you a little truth that you gotta read.
Yeah, because that's what sounded interesting there. Because like it made it seem like, well, when numbers and trajectories go a certain way, you call that shit, you concede that shit, you move on. And I was like, wait, doesn't every vote count? I was like, shouldn't we count every vote before we just, like, even if it's like, all right, 90%, he probably gonna win, right? Shouldn't we count every vote? And it's like, nah. So like the way they were talking, it just made it seem like counting every vote. Who does that shit? Since when have we counted every vote?
We never did that in the first place, y'all. I don't know what y'all thought we was doing.
I don't know. It's a lot of interesting shit. So we only look at ourselves, right? You know what happened this week? I think it's not like officially announced, so I don't know. This could be bullshit, but I think New York Times, right? They're a real paper, right? Unless Twitter bans them too. But I mean, they're a real paper, right? I believe, right, Putin has Parkinson's or something, right? So to my surprise, he hasn't announced this, but I guess the rumor has it that he about to retire next year from his Putin activities, from reigning the throne, from watching the throne. Which came to a super surprise, because I told you earlier, another thing no one talked about, in June, Putin got it that he can do like another, I don't know how many terms, but it's it's all legal. Basically, as long as I'm alive, I can keep running, thing. So like that came to like a super surprise, like, oh wait, he's gonna retire? Like, that don't even sound like, that's not the Putin I grew up with, But what was interesting was, before any of those announcements, I guess, become official, he is passing a law. He's trying to get a law passed, which I don't know if there is trial over there, right? It's gonna get passed, but no president of Russia, which I guess there's really only been 2, right? But that second one was really Putin in the backseat driver. But no president of Russia, I guess, is allowed to be tried for any crime. So basically, before he leave, you got to give himself immunity. All right, now I can leave.
Oh, like if you just ever been the president. I mean, that's the case with it's not strange because that's the thing with Trump. You can't indict a sitting president.
No. But
So,
but he's making it that ever like when you
like if you just been the president, you immune.
Yeah.
Like
I'll try to get the proper
Yo,
language.
that's almost a reason just to be the president. It's like a ribbon in Final Fantasy. Like no status effects. Yo, no status effects after I become president. Word. Yeah, I would just
Considering
get it just to be president.
Legislation proposed by the president that would grant ex-presidents lifetime immunity from criminal prosecution. That's my final law I'm passing before I bounce. I just found that hilarious.
Hey man, this chestnut check is full. You gotta be thinking ahead. I gotta retire. These dudes might finish me. I still got the power. Yo, let me hook this up. And by the way, some of y'all the one other dude, ain't no other ex-presidents, right? Like,
yeah, I know. It's like, who are these ex-presidents?
Y'all can thank me. Y'all can all thank me. They looking around like, yo, dog, this only affects you. He like, yeah, now.
Because I mean, like, technically,
future people will get the benefit.
Technically, there was the other guy, his number two, but the number two when he won,
like the puppet
he
dude.
hired.
So that's why I said you was really. There's only really you. Yeah, and I guess that dude, but.
By the way, Al Jazeera reports.
You be mad at the hustle? Who you mad at? The people? Like, look. If they're doing stuff like that and y'all letting that go by, they should go jump Putin for even suggesting. They should just go beat his Parkinson's ass up. Hey, you bugging. You wilding. But if they let that go, you get what you asked
I don't know
for,
nothing
right?
about Russian culture, but the vibe I get being here in America is I don't know if the people get to really say they let that go. I feel like if Putin wants it, Putin's getting it.
No, I understand but that's a result of there's probably millions of Russians. They could go beat the government now.
Yeah, I mean,
like with fists.
I know what you mean, but I feel like countries like that, like, right? Like, I feel like the vibe I get from being here is they could do that protesty stuff, but I think their military is way more inclined, right, to like sit that down, a bit quicker than the way we let Portland happen and the way we let Seattle happen with the 6 blocks or whatever. I don't think that would fly in Russia. Like I feel like
it depends on how much the people want it. That's all.
That and I guess how much I feel like the people probably have to become almost like rebels themselves, right? They need to get weapons. You almost got to be.
Some of the military was splinter.
You need that. That's what I mean. I feel like it wouldn't be as simple as us just coming there with cardboard signs the way we do it.
Nah.
That's what I mean.
They're gonna have to. No,
you need to fight. You need to fight.
They're gonna have to get it in. But I'm saying. They got to hold him accountable for that. But you letting him do this, I don't care that the military is there.
Yeah.
If that threat, if the fear of that keeps you from doing nothing, then I guess he could write laws that he could do whatever and kill people, and I can't be charged with nothing. And then y'all allow him to do that. But history showed, like, there comes a point where people will stand in front of tanks. And it don't matter anymore.
Remember the infamous picture of in
I'm
China?
talking about?
Yeah, with the shopping bag.
These things at a certain point, it's the stakes. It don't matter, right? Like you might as well be dead at this point. Like how far do we let them people do? Do we let these people do things before I might as well fight tanks. And be on the battlefield or fight for it, right? Like if it's this or this, at some point you're gonna have to decide, right? That looks different in different places and in different, times and stuff like that. But at some point, any revolution, the people obviously said what? We don't care about the military or the bombs or the ships, Britain, King George, or nothing. America, people flipped us off. We don't care about none of that shit. This is more important, and we're gonna die for it because we want it.
Yeah, man. The Putin. By the
It
way,
don't work out too good when the people are really fighting. It don't take many of the people, but when the fight is actually from the people, it's really tough to win a war. It is. History's just shown that. Sometimes you just don't win them. Just stay there dying.
recently,
Ask Russia. Ask Russia about that.
oh, in the Middle
They know
East,
all about. They know all about that.
I was thinking of
The will of the
the in
people.
terms of the people, the Arab Spring of recent, right? In terms of recent rebellions for people.
I think some of that was a little, I think there's some Metal Gear Solid things going on over there. But there is some organic. I'm sure some of those people over there really were tired of some of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? And like they live different. We got it good over here. You know what I'm saying? Some places people really gotta fight for what they believe in. They really gotta bleed and die for that shit. Just to do simple shit. To talk. Worship or do certain shit. Some people gotta. It's more important. What good is living a life if it's controlled by whatever and you not free? Sounds like an unexamined life, right?
Take it back.
Yeah. So examine it. Take a look at it. What's the value of it? What's it worth? What's worth doing for it? Is it worth preserving it a certain way? What is life worth living then? I ain't trying to live in no Nazi Germany, Russia kind of play. Well, that sounds miserable. if I'm even alive in some tyranny or something like that. Thank goodness we didn't grow up in nothing like that. And we wasn't grown early enough to be under that where it occurred here in this country too. So I don't want none of them things. And if things ever got to the point, look, I already proved I'll go get it in if need be. For reasons that might have not even been good, depending on who was directing stuff. But best believe if the time ever came and it comes to like, yo, this isn't worth being like this, and I'd rather put it on the line for a change and go out like that, then yeah. I'm gonna just live in misery, let people do whatever they want. I'd rather be dead. I'd rather die trying to kill your ass from fucking doing this shit to me than just let you do it to me. That's just me though. Know what I'm saying? I'd rather go out if it came to that. What choice do I have? And am I really living if I don't? Am I really alive? If I sit there and take it?
You're alive, but yeah.
Yeah, am I?
But is it the life you want, you
know? Whose life is it if it's not mine? Again, am I alive? I know biologically,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
What's happening? What is this? It's not even my vision. I can't even manifest things I want because y'all won't even let me.
You a battery.
Negative. Yeah. 308 time. I don't know. Hopefully some people behind us, but if not, one of y'all is going to get it. We'll send a message. And all be mindful, the grand equalizer. Putin, he get it just like anybody, get it just like King Vaughn, just like anybody else that get it. Just like that. Just like a snap.
Nothing lasts forever.
It ain't all impossible. Niggas ain't Sephiroth out here controlling meteors and untouchable. And and I'm not even just talking about doing violence and stuff. I'm just meaning like the reason why is because people never hold them accountable for it. You know what you brought up real quick? That the transition of power is old. It's never, no one's ever did it. It's a change. So people are like, yo, this is crazy. But the other angle to that is, well, if you're under the belief that the status quo is whatever, why would they ever fight over the change? I think it's interesting for once to see somebody want to contest it so hard. Like it says something different. Because y'all usually so easy to pass it off to the other team, high five each other. Congrats, y'all all cool, right? Like finally the competition looked real. They ain't even trying to give it up. Fuck out of here. You know what I mean? Cheaters. I kind of like it. But that's crazy in Russia. That's nuts. That's some ill That's some gangster shit. That's not good though. Like I said, gangster stuff
It's not good.
It's not good. But man, that's some cold gangster stuff. Yo, the last law, right? Y'all cannot
This be the realest shit I ever
make
wrote.
me get in
This be the
trouble.
realest
Yeah,
shit
I'm
I ever
cool.
wrote.
Yo, for real. This is the realest. Woo!
Translated into hip hop.
Putin dropping that fire. That's
Um,
terrible. That's terrible. We should laugh about that for the Russian people. Like that sounds the most terrible thing I ever wrote.
I feel like on some video I've seen protests though, and that was surprising. It might have been around the BLM time, so I don't know if they were like really protesting Russia, but it was kind of just interesting to see that because I'm not used to seeing that over there, you know. But yeah,
If Biden wins, let's see what he does. Let's see if all of the things
real quick
wanted,
before we leave,
I'm not sure
to
what it
Biden
is.
back. What's his name? Putin. The Kremlin denies he's leaving next year, by the way. But that's the Kremlin, you know. I wouldn't expect anything else from them.
Yeah, word. With dudes writing walls like that, I don't know if they're like they're not really trustworthy. Kind of source. You know what I mean, but I get it.
This will be the last political thing. Then we might head towards the wrap up. But just on some local shit, you know, there's a lot of people. There's always the idea of turning Texas blue, right? And that's gonna happen because everybody from California keeps moving over here.
I hope they don't do that. No.
I'm just saying, it's just mad funny as I talk to you who moved over here from California. I know you're not doing that voting, but I mean, like that.
Yo, Wyoming ain't that far, dog. Y'all keep messing around. I really
No, but I just want to first off, and again, this is the Google site. I don't know if this is the best one, but it looks like they pull in their stuff from AP. So how good AP is, I don't know. But I told you about counting. Texas has 92% reporting. So for whatever reason, we ain't even done counting. But like, I guess the way it is, Trump won, right? Texas. I don't know. Who needs the other 8%? I guess. I don't know how that works, but you know, like we don't need the other 8%. They don't matter. But what is always funny to do,
look at the county map and see the red and blue and see that only is 5 little blue places south of Texas that control mad votes. Yes, I know exactly what you was gonna. Yo, the whole. You know what the funny thing is it's not Texas.
What do you mean?
The whole country. If you look at county at the whole country,
yeah,
it's all red. New York is controlled by New York City. Most of if you look, most of New
that's
York.
That's because that part that you went to school in ain't New York. That's some other thing. That's another place.
If you look at Nevada's like that. It's only 2 counties that are red, but guess what? They're the most populous counties in Nevada.
Damn, Reno and Vegas. I ain't never been to Reno.
It's like so. Here's what I was saying. I think I brought this up to you. I almost feel like we need an electoral college for the county level. Because the electoral college's purpose is right, like to balance essentially so that high populous places don't control, right? Can't control the vote. So if a state votes a certain way, they get a certain amount of points. I get the way the system works, but it still ends up being majority vote because it's majority vote at the state level. You see what I'm saying? So there's not that layer of protection doesn't exist. So you could get a New York situation where most of the state is actually voting conservative, but the majority of people who live in a small segment actually, determine that shift more. That's not really fair because people that live in New York City shouldn't be determining everything or have such a heavy weight for shit that goes on in Oneonta and Utica. And this shit is nothing like New York City, like how y'all live and the things y'all. And it's not like that exactly. But in
it's
these
only
cases,
like this for
right,
president, though, right?
I know, but in these cases, look, like.
No, but I'm just making sure. Like, it is only like this for the president, right? I feel like there isn't really.
Right, that's what I'm saying. For state and other level things, it's not New York State doesn't determine things for all of the state. But in these other things, like look at the weight that New York to be fair, New York City does have a lot of weight in what happens in the state too, because it is a part of the state. So it still does, a lot of influence comes from what is going on in the city. This is coming from living in
Like
Albany, the
I'm
capital of
sure
New
they
York.
decide every Senate race, right?
And
The
again,
top of New York probably has no chance to nominate anybody for Senate.
so like it's
like,
kind of, the electoral college is kind of moot, because it's just that people in New York shouldn't be, in the city shouldn't, you know, it shouldn't unbalance like that, where you got cases where like damn near the whole state is like this, even though it's less people. And I suppose you should get what the majority gets, but it's skewed because regions could be so different and people could have different needs in different areas or different lifestyles. Not everywhere is like New York City and New York. You know what I'm saying? Like, people don't necessarily see shit like that. But you know, I guess it works in a sense too. But it's just crazy. Like, you see this, the majority of counties, and clearly about half of the people, at least, that voted,
so
right,
so
are
like
not like that.
so for what's going on, like so first off, the joke part of this is like even Alaska and Hawaii are split. Hawaii went blue and Alaska red. I was like, even even the extra states are like that's just,
They're not cool.
that's
They
funny.
opposite, yeah.
That's funny. Like,
I knew that though. That makes sense.
but on what you were I've honestly, and maybe this is just simple minded on thinking on my part, but I've still kind of always been like um just in favor of abolishing electoral college and always just popular, you know.
Nah,
However,
you can't have that.
I think we
That's two
should,
wolves.
but
Two wolves. That's two wolves in the sheep voting for what's for dinner. You know who wins? It's two wolves. It's a protection for the mind. I get conceptually that the electoral college is a protection for the minorities in a sense. It's to balance it out, because majority rules is just mob
but
rules. We have a democratic republic.
wasn't the whole reason of that like kind of just so we can just do like horrible shit to Americans like back in the day, like slavery? Or am I wrong on that? Right?
Slavery was already a part of European culture before.
No, I know,
one
but
voted
just
on
so
making
that like
slavery a
yeah,
thing.
just so that the sovereign states could do like rowdy shit, right?
That they did what?
Just so that basically the states could still do like their own thing and not get overwhelmed by the pop. It's kind of just the original intention that you're saying. Just so these other states that don't have as many people as yours as the other ones. Now I'm just like butchering it, but yes,
I know what you're saying.
yeah, no, but I almost feel like now like man, like it just feels like a lot of progress is stunted. But I don't even care, and I don't even care to really go down this argument. But based on the original intention of the electoral college, then why are we even, if we want to keep the balance, right? Thanos, right, in honor of his name, um, why are we playing winner takes all, right? First off, we don't need all 100% of the votes, right? We only have, well, now it says 98. This shit keep changing, so I don't know. Google's crazy, AP's crazy. But Donald Trump won Texas, right? 52.2 versus 46.4 for 38 electoral votes. Why don't we just divide that up based on whatever their percentage was? Wouldn't that be like some equal shit? I mean, this shit don't seem that hard. You know what's hard though? If we want to constitutionally amend this shit, then never gonna happen.
Right.
But I'm like,
I don't know how that would work out, but it
seems fair.
Like that.
Don't it seem fair?
I like that idea. That's basically what I'm saying.
Votes,
though. You basically calling for. That's what I'm saying. There needs to be a mechanism at the state level to balance for it. Like you saying, like if you're gonna use it, then split it up so it's representative of what actually happened. You know what I'm saying? To what the people want. You know what I'm saying? So like you said, all right,
in the New York.
Break it up. He won 46% of the 30 points or whatever.
Yeah.
And you get 50. And I mean, in a sense,
and whoever won, because I know it's percentages, the winner takes the imbalanced vote because he's the fucking winner. You know, like tough, deal with it. You know, it's not that hard, man.
Right.
The extra vote.
It's still,
you know?
I don't know if that would work. But I know what you're saying. Like,
why wouldn't it work? Why wouldn't it work?
Because it still ends up being majority, though. Well, nah, because at the end of the day,
because it's still county though. But it's still county.
So there's like a point system
So
for
like
the counties or something?
because look, like Texas has 38 electoral votes, right? He would take 52% of that 38, right? Whatever number that is. Like he's still not getting all 38 of Texas. Like it's still balanced by the counties.
But it's still popular. It's still by the majority of. I see what you're saying.
Oh, okay, yeah, I got you. So it's still by the popular
You know
vote.
what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
But
No,
I know,
now I get it.
but
Now
I know
get
what you're saying though. But what you're saying is there needs to be something like I know.
But there is a
balance.
so
I understand it.
it is overwhelmed by popularity. But like for Texas or even Nevada, right? Like I'm not gonna go through all 50 states, but for Texas, right, you got 5.5 million point 8 voting for Trump and 5.2 for Biden, right? That seems like we got a bit of an equilibrium. And then for Nevada, right, with the 2 county for Biden, somehow he wins. You got 600K versus 600K. That also seems like an equilibrium because even though all those reds individually can't take on one city, it seems like collectively they amount to usually about the same. So,
What I'm saying is your idea,
yeah,
but not off the percentage. Is the same way they assigned points to the states, assign points to regions or to the counties, so that if you get like that 30 points is broken up and you could win, it still works the way you want. Like, well, but it don't matter the percentage. It's just like, look, these counties were red. They obviously voted majority in there. You get assigned a certain amount of points that I would assume is based on the population of that region or that counties. And then maybe you divide it up like that. Like, okay, you got this many electoral points. You got this many this. Yeah, it's still based on popular, but it's not the overall raw popular. It's still, you get a point for the constituency for the region that voted for you. Like it still seems kind of fair. It's not as blanket, you know what I'm saying? So even if you lost, you could still be like, my point went to
such and such, yeah.
Our candidate, you know what I'm saying? We didn't lose all of our points just because Austin or whatever voted, everything went to this dude and we don't agree with it. Even if you lose, right, it's still the regions, your vote went where you wanted it to go. And there's I don't know, something like that.
I don't know if we could do, I get what you're saying. I don't know if we can do every county have a point because I'm looking at Texas. I'm like
that's what I'm saying.
Way
regions.
more than 38.
Like if you regionalize, if you broke up states into certain blocks and assigned points instead of that'd be nuts. It wouldn't even be possible.
No, it is possible, but then you'd have
not each region. Not each county.
That is possible, but you'd have to do again what probably no one's gonna want to do. Now you really just have to get rid of the electoral college, even if it's just the new electoral college. Motherfuckers don't like new though. No one wants a new, because that just means that I can't use 270 no more. Now I really, now it might be 1,100 versus 800. That might be just too much new.
Right. They would want it to be.
But what you're saying is even more for maybe every county is. The problem is, but now you go with every county maybe being 1 point, and then the LAs of the world are going to be like, man, what the fuck? And now it's the same argument that you guys are saying.
The county's points is assigned the same way the states are. I think it's based off of population.
Yeah.
So the counties or regions would be assigned points based on the amount of people that go there. So that's fair. So if you win Austin and that's where a lot of people go, you get 5 points because that's a big portion of the population in Texas. But it doesn't mean that just because those most populous places means you get all of the points. You just get the points that are assigned to that region based on the population. So if you take Texas's 30 points and divide it up into, 6 regions or 6 or however it's divided up, you know what I'm saying? And you base it like that. So it's like, it's just it's weighted differently. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even know if what I'm saying makes sense. I just know it.
There's a possibility. It is kind of crazy though.
There's a disconnect. It seems like something's off in the way it works.
I'm just looking at all these other like maps, and if you don't live in a city, there's nearly a 95% chance you vote red. And I'm like, why do you think that is? Is that just like, yo, leave me alone type shit?
It's probably like life. It's probably like a cultural thing. Like cities are unique, and when you go outside of cities, life is different. People aren't. Upstate New York's not New York City. It's different. It's not even as condensed. LA is not the redwoods, right? Like, why would people in California up there necessarily want or need? We don't even live in a place like that. Like, what? So, yeah, I think it just comes to just different lifestyles. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And as you get further out, it's less people, it probably gets a little less diverse. And you know what I'm saying? Maybe less of all of the special interests and things that go on in cities. And I don't know. I think it's a cultural thing, though. Right? Like, look, all of the cities vote blue. And like you said, like everywhere outside of that, they be on some other stuff. I don't know. But seems something's a little antiquated with it. It seemed like
it is old, man. Many things are old in our thing.
I don't know what the fix is, but it seemed like we could probably come up with maybe something that's, I don't know if more fair is the word, but I don't know, something that just is maybe more reflective of
today,
what people want. But I don't know a mathematical or voting system that will work. It just seems like something that should get re-looked at, maybe.
Yeah, but will we? Probably not. Probably not.
Change is uncomfortable.
Yep. Damn, I was gonna say some shit, but I left.
Black Widow.
No. I remember that, but that was gonna be where I go to then. But I feel like I had one more politicky thing, but I guess it left me unless I wrote some shit. But oh well. Yeah, man, I looked at the comic book site, man. I hated all their topics. Their hot topics.
No top
right
10
now.
Today, no?
I could do it. It was just fucking annoying. It just makes me mad. I'm still mad at the Boba Fett. I tried going to Variety. I tried going to Variety, but it's too much business on there. Oh, I wrote it down here and then I deleted it. So I've been starting to go to Variety, but it's kind of the business of famous people. So it's kind of like still not enough where I want to get to comic centric-y. But what they did have in there was Biggie is he's going to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame tomorrow, I believe.
I thought he was already in it, but I thought, yeah, okay.
And they had a quote in there from his son that said "about time," and you know, I don't know if it's just me being a human being and always looking for negativity and challenge or something. Like, but I was like, about time. I was like, why is it about time that a genre that isn't hip hop put this guy in the Hall of Fame? I was like, if anything, it should be looked at as like I don't know, like some type of grateful weird thing that happens that somehow rappers are making it into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I don't know if that's just rock and roll even trying to be relevant that they still keep doing that, you know? Like maybe in the 90s it was less, even though you're a rapper, it wasn't maybe as separated maybe as it is now. Because I can't even name you like modern rock groups, you know? But yeah, I was just like, you know, like about time. I was like, it's more, I don't know. I just felt like more just be grateful because it's like, why should he even be there in a world?
Yeah, wouldn't you just want him in the hip hop Hall of Fame?
I don't even know if there is one, but it's just, why should he be in there? Because you know what's funny? What's
the criteria to be there?
Real quick, there was I don't know if in 2020 this is still true, but I do remember when I used to be way more into prog, one of the big criticisms was like, yo, man, Rush ain't even in the Hall of Fame, yo. Like, I'm sure I don't know if you know who Rush is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the old group.
Yeah. It's like, yo, if Rush can't be in the Hall of Fame, it's like we should just be mad grateful Biggie's in the Hall of Fame because Rush got like 30, 40 years of doing like actual rock music shit. And it's like
legendary too.
It's
yeah,
I was like, shit. So it's like Biggie did a grand total of, I believe, 0 rock songs. So it's like kind of amazing he got in there.
So now I have to look into why that is it sounds like a symbolic gesture, like you said. Like,
well, I believe Snoop Dogg's in it. Tupac's in it. You know, Tupac made it in before Biggie.
We can't. You know what it is. You know what it is. Go ahead and say it. You want to say it, or you want me to say it?
Because I don't think I know yet. But
you know why? Name those people again.
Tupac, Biggie, Snoop Dogg.
Oh, nah, it's not what you think. No, I could go. This is not.
No, I don't even know where we're going. No, that's why I'm like, I need you to say it because I don't know where we're going.
So say those people again.
Tupac, Biggie, Snoop Dogg. I know that all those. Well, Biggie's just now, but I know Snoop Dogg and Tupac are in it. I know that. Or at least I know Tupac is definitely in it. I should just type
No
rappers in the
modern
Hall
rock
of Fame.
groups that you could think of, right? Not quite the popular genre.
No,
right?
that I can
In
think
the
of
age
currently.
diversity,
See, that's what I was thinking of too.
Right?
That's
In the
how we
age of
stay
diversity,
relevant. That's how you stay
there's
relevant.
probably not too many. I'm sure there's other black people in the Hall of Fame. I imagine, like black.
Yeah.
Rock stars that I just.
I don't know if you
know
can get in there
that
while
well.
you're alive, but I know Buddy Guy, even though he's kind of more like bluesy type stuff, like Buddy Guy gotta be in the Hall of Fame.
Right, so I'm sure, but I'm just saying it sounds like they trying to,
Little Richard,
color it up
Grandmaster Flash. So this Grandmaster Flash, Tupac, NWA, Public Enemy, the Beastie Boys, and so before you say and Run DMC, and in my head, the only hip hop group, and maybe only is a harsh word, but I was like,
DMC.
just thinking of it today, yes. Because they call themselves the Kings of Rock, so it's almost like a fitting joke to honor them by letting them be in there. Let alone
and
that
the
they
Aerosmith
sampled,
joint, right?
not just that song. Except when you get to the Pete Rock era, like their whole discography is just rock hip hop. It's literally samples, so it
like
almost makes sense.
Kinda...
It's kind of a tribute that they should be there. Now, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, I don't know his discography like that, and I know everything he done to hip hop, but I'm like, I don't know how rock and roll any of that is. Beastie Boys actually end up becoming kind of a rock group, funny enough,
Yeah, they're in the same vein as Run DMC, basically.
Yeah, but they actually become a rock group later on.
Right, right. But in the rap vein, they were still in that vein.
Yeah. Public Enemy, they were way open into it. So I feel like Public Enemy gets in there on their message because back then, it was more, even some of the rockers, obviously they're famous for that Anthrax song, if we want to talk like rock songs. Bass, how low can you go? When they remixed it with the metal group. It's in the Tony Hawk joint. It's dope. But I feel like just the messaging, they probably felt Public Enemy has a punk vibe to it, right? Because punk is famous for rebelling against governments and whatnot.
Right.
And that's NWA too, and I guess a little bit of Tupac, but I feel like once you get to NWA and Tupac, like I don't even know if the sound is there anymore, like for being like rock and roll per se. So yeah, I don't know. Like it's just like, well, at a certain point, you should probably just change the name rock and roll, like and you get your diversity in there real quick, So
I'm trying to. I wonder what it takes to like be in it. Clearly, it's not doing rock and roll music, but there's not a hip hop Hall of Fame.
I don't think so. Let's find out. Hip Hop Hall of Fame.
That people just wouldn't want that to exist.
It's under construction.
Wait, what?
Hip Hop Hall of Fame museum is under construction.
See, we don't have our own.
But this looked like somebody's like doing a DIY thing. Like it's not like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
See, that's why in the rock one, that's some label. That's some. I ain't gonna get into it. The stuff people be saying is nuts, right? About Time should have been a hip hop one, no?
See, like, look, this is more shit. They probably need to rename it Rock and maybe. I don't know. I don't really know Rock and Roll Hall of Fame like this. But look, all I type rock and roll as I try to find out shit about it. And here's a quote from USA Today. If I talk too long, I'll cry. Whitney Houston's mom. And I'm like, Whitney Houston's getting into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? I was like, I don't know her discography, but like, would you say that's rock and roll? Like when Whitney Houston...
They should just call it like the music legend, like the Hall of Music Legends or something.
Because that's what it seems like is happening right now. It's just legends being inducted now.
Yeah, it's just the Hall of Legends for music. Yeah, basically.
If you a legend in anything, you're rock and roll. That seems to be the new meaning.
You rock. Yeah. You rock. I get it. You rock. Know what I mean?
But yeah. But let's not forget. Okay. Oh shit. Russ Oh, it did happen in 2013. Rush finally. That's how long I've known of Rush. Rush was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2013. Good for them. I think Yes probably finally made it too. In 2017. That band started in the late 60s, dog. Look how long it took for them. But yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of funny. It's like maybe that just needs to be rethinked.
Just renamed.
Yeah.
Least. Yeah.
Just music
Hall of
Legends. The Hall of Legends. That's it.
The Hall of Champions or something.
Now I'm curious, like who? That makes me think of Unreal Tournament.
The Hall of Champions.
Yeah. Depeche. Wait, no. I was trying to see. Man, Rock 2020 inductees. There we go. Oh, Depeche Mode. Yo, I like Depeche Mode, but that's not rock and roll, really ish. like,
I mean, look, Biggie's in there. Biggie's not rock and roll. It's clear that like,
then Depeche Mode's worldwide legends too, though. You know, the Doobie Brothers. I don't know the Doobie Brothers like that. That don't sound like rock and roll.
Like some 60s.
Maybe it is.
Stuff.
Maybe it is. I don't know. Yeah, it might be.
Like 60s,
it might
70s
be.
Things.
Whitney Houston. 9 Inch Nails. 9 Inch Nails sound like the only people who should be going in here.
Yeah. I was gonna say they make sense.
Notorious B.I.G. T-Rex. I don't know who that is, and Ahmet Ertegun. Those are the nominees for this year. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be strictly rock and roll, but yeah, I know. It's just weird to be like, I don't know. I just thought that was just an interesting comment. About time he get in there. And I guess maybe the moment they start accepting rappers in particular, once Tupac gets in there,
then the expectation became he should be in there.
But musically, right. I guess in my head, I don't associate the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as getting my hip hop, legends in there.
From a culture and genre perspective, I wouldn't say that. But I get it too. Should be a hip hop Hall of Fame.
It should be. It looks like someone's building a museum, but I don't know if. And maybe from there they can build a show, and now it'll be real because you build it, they will come, right? But yeah, the last thing. This is pure rumor. I was hearing the Fat Man Beyond, which was the Kevin Smith thing, and he was hearing it through the grapevine, by the end of the WandaVision show, which I'm not too excited about. I know many people are, that doesn't mean it won't be good, It just doesn't seem maybe like the Marvel shit I want to see, let alone those aren't my favorite characters anyway. But by the end of that show, Wanda should be maybe on the verge of going bad, right? Because it does look like she's doing some universe implementation, and that supposedly she might be the bad, I was going to say guy, but bad girl of the Doctor Strange movie. So yeah. And then that one is two things. That one's supposed to be the horror movie from Marvel's first horror movie. And it's supposed to be it's called Multiverse of Madness, which again, Scarlet Witch can do this whole universe creation stuff, So she might be the key to that, So I think that would be interesting. Like this could be that's cool because right, given all of her story that they've given so far, I'm like, we're never gonna get this Scarlet Witch who is the bad person at some times. But like if we're actually going there, I think that's dope. And I feel like that's what MCU so far has done that none of the other comic it's not like there's a lot, right? It's just like that the other comic company doesn't do is I feel like once Kevin Feige started aiming for the stars with the Thanos, right? It seemed like they became the company, like they go there, right? I know Civil War isn't what it could have been now that you've read the book, but they go there. They actually attempt the thing and do it, They do.
It's pretty good for a 2-hour condensation of book song,
Whenever
you
I
know what
bet
I'm
you,
saying?
whenever they do Dark Phoenix, right, it'll be probably something dramatically different than
You know what's good about Civil War
what?
that I give them is
What?
they, even though it's not exactly what happens, it was still really good storytelling, especially when you consider the bigger story that they tell all together.
Oh
Like the way
yes,
they took that piece and went there,
yeah.
but still incorporated it into what they were doing was like 100% spot on. It's
Mm.
just obviously not exactly all the madness that's in the comic, and that wouldn't have been possible anyway because of contract stuff and stuff like that. So it's it's super. It's still like one of the best comic book movies. You know what I'm saying? And it does a lot of good to the comic too. It just don't have a lot of the cool little things too that happen.
Yeah, yeah.
But they do their own cool stuff for that stuff. I was gonna ask you, I was gonna say something crazy, but then I was like, wait, Marvel already does a pretty good job at telling stories, so it's not the storytelling thing is crazy. But I was gonna joke and say they should just get Zack Snyder as a consultant and not use what he says, but just like
He can't ever work there because I'm not even saying I don't want him there, but it seems like people who like freedom don't like working for Marvel. And I think he likes freedom.
No, hear me out. Hear me out.
Yeah.
He's a consultant. He's not making it. He just want to
I feel like
want to brainstorm with you and know what you would do, and we'll pick.
No, we could easily get him on our podcast, and that's how you do it. Because I feel like the consultants there are the producers that already work on staff at Disney. I don't think they bring it in.
Look, I know he might stray from canon and stuff, and like maybe do some other things. Yeah, but if you gave him the Marvel Universe, like how he gonna give us something ill.
We have something psychotic, and it'd probably be memorable.
It'll be
sure.
trill.
Yeah.
Everybody will show up.
The more I hear about what Snyder is doing, the more I hear like who knows what's gonna happen. I know Cyborg is still mad. He was claiming a lot of a lot more
racism.
Yeah, he is real mad.
Damn, even black cyborgs can't get.
And that might be another reason why none of those other guys are attached to this movie. Like, remember where I said like none of the old EPs are on here. It's all Snyder, like none of the usual Warner Brothers people are attached to this project. So, but yeah, I don't know.
Would you want to see Marvel tell? I know they have plenty of source material, but would you ever want to see them do anything new, or do we want to just continue to see?
Well, I think we're about to get that. I think we're about to get that hardcore. I think.
So you think what comes is not gonna be? Obviously, it's probably gonna be expired and something's pulled from the comic book. But do you think we'll see
I think
something really new?
Just like in hip hop. Okay, so we might circle around and get to something on a macro level that me and you know. But honestly, from the light that we are allowed to see right now, as public people who don't work there, I think our golden era is done. I think the X-Men that all the stuff that we thought are dope in comics, like those characters, they're done because they're moving in kind of the new culture, right? So, and what I mean by that is like a lot of new characters and a lot of diversity characters, right? So we're gonna get Miss Marvel, right? The Pakistani hero. Like we're moving in that direction. Like these are people like we've never really either heard of, or we've probably heard the name Miss Marvel because her name's Miss Marvel, but we don't know any of her power. We don't know any of her story. We didn't read her comics or any of that, and she was never in any of our games growing up. We're getting to She-Hulk.
Do you know doesn't Rogue get her powers, or she gets her powers from Miss Captain Marvel? I think it's
Captain. Yeah, probably one of the male ones. But yeah, like we're going. The Mandarin movie, right? It's called Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings, right? So that's the That's Asian lead character in that. But how famous was Shang-Chi if you're not like hardcore, right? If you're not like a hardcore Marvel person.
But he still has a song. What I'm saying is but
no,
with these new,
we're going the new way, but I think we're going to go a lot more into diversity hires, like diversity stories now for that. For Marvel,
you think there'll be new? What I'm saying is,
like,
I don't care if they're gonna make a diverse version of the Infinity War story. Do you think that they will tell us, or not? Do you think that they will tell us? I was asking you.
So
about pushing
part
the
of
envelope and stuff, right?
Like, I think the envelope will still be pushed.
Storybooks from
I
the
think,
comics.
but what I was saying is, I think our heroes are kind of done. Like a lot of the guys we followed, a lot of their time is mostly done. Obviously, Spider-Man's still there, but he's about to drop movie 3. How much longer? Like after Spider-Man does movie 3, like maybe after that he only appears in Avengers and big movies, unless they're gonna do 4, which I guess they're gonna do with Thor 4. But I wouldn't be surprised if Scarlet Witch ends up I'm drifting away, but I'm gonna bring it back. If Scarlet Witch ends up really being the bad guy, right? In the Strange movie, I feel, and then Thor 4 happens. I don't know what's Thor 4 gonna be, right? But Lady Thor is in there, right? I think a lot of the characters that have been around for a while, we're gonna try to wrap up their arcs, right? And they can move on, whatever. But I feel like as they get replaced with newer heroes, I think there's going to be a lot of new stories because it's just going to be a lot of heroes they're choosing from now that aren't the ones maybe we grew up with.
So you think they're going to pull from newer things?
Yeah, it's going to be more Guardians of the Galaxy.
And they're not going to tell old Phoenix Saga. They're not going to tell Maximum Carnage.
Yeah, I mentioned diversity hire.
War.
Because I think some of that might be targeted to maybe picking more race-specific heroes too, but what that means is probably not the classic white heroes we grew up on, and those were the ones we grew up on. So that's why I think you are going to get new ones, or they just might be recast, even if it is an old one, because obviously they're going to bring back X-Men and Fantastic Four, and for us, right, those are OG people, so we might get our OG filled there. You mentioned Maximum Carnage. I feel like because of Sony.
I just threw that out.
But that made me sad because I was like, that could be an Avenger. Oh wait, no, Sony is doing it in Venom 2, and like, yeah,
Sony's gonna be kind of maximum. Maximum. When they say Maximum Carnage, they mean is the max. Like, there's gonna be more Maximum Carnage than the comic book could ever be. Whatever they do, I don't even know what they're doing. I just know it's.
You talking about bringing Zack Snyder over? Sony should bring Zack Snyder over. That's
they might as because he'll show y'all how to do what y'all doing.
It'll be entertaining at least.
It's like y'all just crazy. He crazy, but he got like style. He got a vision to his shit. Know what I mean? I could kind of rock with his Picasso.
I always tell people, like, look, man, I love those Avenger movies. I love Marvel movies. But I talk about Batman versus Superman probably more than any of them because it's legendary. It's legendary. It's my legendary in the wrong way, but it's It's memorable. I don't talk about Suicide Squad because it's trash. I don't talk about Justice League mostly because
bleed, homie?
It's trash. But bet.
Yo, do you bleed?
Yeah. If you that scene that you're quoting, they're almost having 2 separate conversations. Because Batman is having a "do you bleed" conversation while Superman is literally just giving him dude, it's over. Like, you're gonna die. Like, they're not even having like a conversation. They're literally in 2 worlds. He's telling him, stop being the Batman. Do you bleed? Okay, like I just said, stop being the Batman. Did you not see the 2 doors? And he's having his own like world conversation while Superman's trying to do this peacefully. He leaves. Superman's not even there, and he tells him, "You will." He's talking to the air by the time he tells him.
No. So that's time number 1, and I just want to give Jack Snyder some.
I remember that.
Time number 2. Yo, do you bleed? Yo.
Oh, super. Yes.
Woke me back up. Yeah.
So see. That's probably the one of the Zack Snyder moments from that movie that got Joss Whedon.
Superman, gangster Superman woke up from the dead. Like, Yo, the last time I was awake, I remember you asking me if I could bleed.
By the way, I heard he's not gonna be in it in any reshoots. So I don't know how that's gonna be mega Zack Snyder. Because you're gonna
He's about to punch Batman. Yo, if Lois Lane didn't pop up.
I say that because you're gonna have Darkseid in this movie, but I guess Superman's not gonna be in the Darkseid segment. So now you're gonna just have some weird ass shit. Because
I'm
because
rolling,
somehow
though.
all that Superman stuff is probably still gonna happen, right? But if we're also gonna add extra Darkseid stuff, we're just
I don't care. That trailer look ill.
But I'm just saying, Superman
like
gonna just be like,
happening.
you know what? Like, I don't want to be here right now. You guys can handle saving the world like, without me. Cyborg got this. Cyborg got this now.
Yeah, hold it down, brother. Hold it down, brother.
That movie, that's gonna be an interesting 4 weeks. That is gonna be an interesting 4 weeks, yo. Yeah, but no, like I think Marvel's just gonna hit us with a lot of new shit. I'm reading this book.
Do you think it's gonna be good?
I'm reading this book.
You sound kind of skeptical.
I'm only skeptical on a surface level because I'm reading this book on things by Peter Thiel. It's about startups, right? And he's been talking about these things. It's so interesting to hear him talk about competition and monopoly in a reverse way.
Where's he from? What's his fund called?
Oh, now I have no idea, but I mean, he's part of the PayPal mafia. He's one of the PayPal.
Oh,
right. I didn't know because I always wondered some of that story, and I didn't know that Elon Musk started separately, but they were doing the same thing. So they just decided it'd be better to merge instead of war with each other because he considers competition a distraction from the actual goal of success. You know, because now we're focusing on destroying you, and he points a path of Apple surpassing everybody on Microsoft and Google. Because obviously Google's still a big ass company, but he's like, they're out here making Google Chrome, and they're making copies of each other, like instead of like being what they are, you know. And Apple is like, all right, we're gonna do this iPhone shit now, and like just be on our way, you know. And now they get to be the head tech company. So random side note, I think I learned this from like a week or two ago. I think Google pays somewhere between 8 to 12 billion just to be the default on Apple iPhones. Like, that's crazy. The good default search. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. Anyway, I don't even remember the original. Oh, yeah. Marvel. Okay, so going all the way back, I mentioned the startup thing and all that primarily because I remember hearing Kevin Feige talk. And he says the way they do movies, they seem to be, which sounds strange because they are always doing these long plans, but like, let's just do it all now because we don't know if we're going to get to do it tomorrow. So am I excited for the TV shows? Maybe, you know, TV shows aside, because they probably need to win me over because TV shows just have a history of being not good. But, you know, like some of the TV shows, right? Like maybe a She-Hulk or all these other things, or some of the movies, right? Like Eternals, like I don't know shit about the Eternals, right? But I do trust that, like, one, Guardians was amazing, and two, like, I feel like they like to do cool shit in the long term, and they like to actually do it, unlike fighting cloud monsters in the Hulk movies of the day, right? Or or they gave us like real life Thanos. They gave us Civil War, even if it was a baby moment. That year, I always say that year was the year. You go down the list, but that was the year, for whatever reason, hero versus hero. And yet that was the only hero versus hero story that there wasn't a hidden bad guy, unless you count Nemo or Zemo, right? Unless you count Zemo and his 1 minute talk with Black Panther at the end. But like, there was no cop-out at the end. Like, okay, let's all team up against Zemo now. Like, no, Iron Man and Captain America fought even at the end, 1-on-1. Well, 2-on-1. They jumped his ass. Look at that. They made Iron Man, their most famous motherfucker. They made him a bad guy. It's probably why he got 50 million, you know, and they left him there. There was no cop-out. Because that same year, there was a movie called Batman versus Superman that we just talked about, right? Not Civil War, right? It's literally in the title. And you know what we really don't get in that movie? We don't really get a lot of Batman versus Superman. You get 10 minutes of some crazy shit, but the movie wasn't filled with that, you know? Civil War was, you
Yeah,
know?
it was kind of comparing Batman, like who was crazier. It wasn't a competition between them per se. It was like, yo, who's doing more ill stuff? Like Superman punched this dude to Africa. Batman's Batman did, scaring people, or
He's
whatever
murdering
crazy
people, yeah,
stuff. It was
whatever.
just
Yeah,
that
yeah,
that was
yeah.
the verses. Like, yo, who's more wild? Know what I mean?
But I'm saying it seems like Marvel, and this is probably part of the. I know Disney owns them, but the freedom they have of like owning themselves in a budget, right? They seem to be in a place where they can actually do the things they want. And it's like, man, that stuff going on in the comics, that's crazy. You can't do that. They're like, no, let's, maybe you can't do the Civil War, right? And that's why the creator is angry. But we can do Civil War-ish things, They're actually
Yeah,
trying it.
okay.
Like they're the first people to come to the or did Justice League come out first? I can't remember. No, it came out in the middle because they did movie and movie. They're the first people to bring a god character to life and have it be good. Because Galactus as a cloud, no, no, no.
I got you.
So
But with
I
this
trust
being
them.
said,
Yeah,
okay.
that's
So
what
with
they
this
probably
being
gonna make
said,
me a huge fan of Shang-Chi or whatever. Like those movies won't suck. The Doctor Strange, I'm not big on that. But
no, I got you.
yeah.
I just have just one thing because you were mentioning a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
It's kind of known, or we spoke about. I don't think either of us follow it closely to really comment too strongly on it. But I've heard, and even from people I know that still read comic books, that they don't like the direction comics has been going into. There's been less
real
of a
comics.
focus on things. Listen though,
Yeah.
there's been less of a focus on things that people that actually like the comics, like the artwork and the stories, and there's more of a
It
focus
doesn't
on
make money, sadly.
appeasing to the stuff. So with that being said, you mentioned that, right? Like our era of characters is coming to an end, and that may be reflecting in the movies. We're having some of these new characters being shown. Do you think that they'll continue to be good and they'll continue to tell stories, or do you think that as it transitions into the new phase that's in the comics, if the material in the comics isn't, like, I don't know what the stories currently are, right? But do you think that bleeds over into the movies? Now, me and you don't know what that is because we don't read I don't know the new stories. I don't know the new characters. I just hear people complaining about these kind of things and different, the diversity, whatever they gripes are about it. The comic fans feel like the comic part, the things that they liked, are being compromised for other kind of things. Do you think if the movies are starting to move right to these new stories and these new characters, do you think some of that, whatever these things people are talking about, if you believe them to be real or you've heard them yourself, do you think that starts to show its head in the movies? And then the movies don't, because they telling golden era stories, golden era characters.
I think it's inevitable.
These aren't new things. Do you think that it changes?
I think it's inevitable, but I don't know if we'll really see that until the long term, because you're gonna get some of it sprinkled right now, right? Miss Marvel, I feel like Miss Marvel is more. I don't think She-Hulk's too weird because I feel like she's kind of just always been around to me. She-Hulk seems like an OG character, Oh yeah, but I guess like maybe like you're gonna get some of that, but I feel like at least for the short term, they're still gonna be able to tie it all in with like a macro that might be OG, right? Whatever Avengers, what are we on? Like 5, I guess would be the next one. Assuming Avengers movies are the movies where everybody goes in, like forever. Those are the big movies. I'm sure whenever we do 5, like even when we have those stories that maybe are not as cool, like it'll probably be tied together by something. I don't know what the next
bigger
Thanos is.
And cooler.
That's maybe OG enough. Okay.
But do you think on an individual movie basis that you might get these now uninteresting stories that are talking about?
You might. I don't know too many people that like Captain Marvel. And I didn't like it till the second time I saw it. Like a lot of these movies that I hate on first viewing, when I go there without expectation, I can appreciate it for what it is better. But yeah, like Captain Marvel was kind of whack, you know? Like, and I think when Captain Marvel was announced, um, like which Captain Marvel they were choosing, I think a lot of people were disappointed because all the other ones seemed way more cooler and interesting, you know?
Like from a story basis.
And they're just aliens and shit. So it's like cool. Like this is the one that's a white girl from Earth, you know? And I hate
Okay.
I hate
Okay.
when we
I got
choose
you.
that because it's like it's the normalization of super stuff, you know? Like just like Domino. Domino is a black lady, you know, like and I'm like, she doesn't look like a freak. She looks like like that looks very realistic that I can walk up to and find many black women walking around, you know? But what I can't find is how Domino looks in the comics. That looks like some shit that's freakish, you know, different. It literally looks like I don't know, like pale undead lady, you know? Um yeah, so I don't know, like it just seemed like a boring choice. Um but like it's hard for me to hate Captain Marvel cuz it's glued with all this greatness, right? You know like but
And I'm sure there was like social themes in Captain Marvel, like maybe the selection of that Captain Marvel itself
yeah, you
was a
get the whole
statement.
the
I think
strong woman thing
the
and they're in the
Infinity War
military, yeah.
female scene, right? Like
Yeah.
they have that stuff in there. Um, but when I watched it, I didn't feel like anything was being particularly promoted. Like whatever themes were in it was just like kind of subtext. I didn't feel like I was
Like Captain
being
Marvel?
yeah, I didn't
Yeah,
feel
no, it's
I just felt
fine.
like it was just a movie and
Yeah.
like yeah, I could read into it's a strong female character. I could look into all of those kind of maybe other things that they wanted. She's the most strong, right? Like the
Yeah,
most
yeah.
powerful characters now is female. So I could get those cool things for those. And look, I kind of like the way like, all right, yo, let's switch it up. Let's make the most powerful character female instead of the dude. And all right, cool. I'm with it. Fine. But the movie was okay. Like I didn't feel like
Yeah, yeah.
that's all they were focusing
It's
on. And
fine.
it's
The
cool to
stuff it
see a
suffers
ill
from,
female character.
the stuff it suffers from is not so much like anything that comes from even diversity. It comes from like, you know,
The
origin
content.
stories, bullshit. Or like my favorite story.
That's what I'm asking you.
My
This is what
my
I'm
favorite
getting at.
story, real quick.
It's not the diversity. Do you think because the complaints people complain about the character changes and diversity, but I've also heard that it's the stories that suck now. Y'all aren't it's not comic booky anymore. Y'all focusing it on these little things and care too much about this that y'all not paying attention to that. So are you worried that you get a bunch of political origin stories now as we transition to these new characters, or you think they kind of keep it like Captain Marvel and it's just like, look, we're doing it and we're just going to tell the story now.
Disney, you know, this is part of it. They'll be mainstream enough that it's not too heavy on anything crazy. So I think they'll be fine. Like I said, Kevin Feige seems to be doing really fucking good, you know? Might even be able to do the impossible and have a meaningful TV show. We'll wait and see on that, you know?
Yo, would you think they should do a guys versus girls arc?
A what?
The war of the sexes. Like something happens in the superhero I'm being serious. Something happens in the superhero universe where like the it's like some Civil War type. Something happened and the women and men are at odds and nah, we don't want you to be the leader of the justice thing or something
around
like that.
Endgame, the idea was floated around about having an all-female Avengers. So, I mean, maybe that seems more real. I don't know about guy versus girls. So, like,
you don't think we should go? Nah, we can't have a men versus women Marvel.
I mean, like, I think why not? Like, but it goes in deeper on it's even deeper than hero versus hero. Now it's literally like men versus women. That like. You need to have, now this is the Mark Bernardin in me talking. You can't just be doing this shit for the fun of it, especially something like that and the way that it influences people. There needs to be a reason why men are fighting women, and there needs to have a point at the very end.
I'm not saying just wake up, yo.
No, because I don't know, because the idea of having like, right, the good guys fight the good guys is interesting because just for the purposes of wanting to see, I don't know why this is coming. I'm trying to think of a better example, but because they already do fight. But Cyclops versus Wolverine, it's like, they're on the same team. So what would happen, right? There's an interest. But
what would happen to all the female?
But yeah,
better,
that's just such a hardcore separation. Like if like what if all the men fuck the women? That just sounds like mad random.
What if something happened? I mean, there's a polarization.
Because I think is interesting to ask like
we don't have an event that causes it.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't make sense to me.
For somebody to design a story that leads to...
Because it's easier for me to imagine Captain Marvel versus Hulk. That I can imagine that with no problem. It's hard for me to fathom why are all the women and fighting the men. Like, what is going on?
Something happens. I don't know. Something happens. Something happens and pisses the ladies off. Or the dudes. I don't know. And they all band behind. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know if Disney's touching that. So I'm sorry. That might be a Zack Snyder. Like, I bet you that feels like a Zack Snyder movie.
That is wild. There's not really a good reason for this. But in my mind, it just seemed like some crazy...
if we're gonna make Scarlet Witch the bad person and Doctor Strange, why not just make the next Avengers movie like the final Hulk movie and he's the bad guy?
We could. I think ladies versus guys would be kind of tough because we have Helena. I'm just saying. It's not
so now it's the heroes and the villains of each sex. Wait, now it's hold up. It's the heroes and the villains of each sex turning each other.
Well,
this is mad crazy. This is mad crazy.
I'm just giving an example.
This is the civil war of sexes.
It'd be cool. There's some cool. We got strong females.
So Helena is coming up from her hell, which I don't know if she really reps hell in the movie, but she's coming up from hell and is down to team up with Scarlet Witch and other the lady from Wakanda. This is like mad random. Like just because they're women.
Yo, one of the dudes. Just because something happened. Allegations. That's not funny, but I'm trying to think of what would
you know what? That makes more sense in like let's say it was sex war X-Men, right? Men versus women, because like you said, maybe an allegation happens at the school and now you have all the men and women fighting each other at the X-Men school. But I don't know about the whole Marvel universe fighting each other, men versus women. That sounds pretty insane, dude.
I'll think about it. I'm gonna send an email to Zach. I mean to
No, Zach. No, you send it to Zach because Zach will do it with some type of IP. He'll find the IP because he already did Sucker Punch, right? Isn't Sucker Punch halfway there? I've never seen Sucker Punch, but it looked like a lot of women fighting in schoolgirl outfits. He halfway.
Oh, Sucker Punch! I did see Sucker Punch before. It's an interesting movie.
Is it?
It's like
there's like dreams and stuff, right? In a
none of this stuff is real though. They're really just like women in like a dance brothel kind of place, and like going through their struggle. And they kind of like visualize it, them fighting their challenges through these like dreams where they like this and that. So it's an interesting movie.
They casted Moon Knight last week, I believe. By the way,
you told.
Okay,
who was it?
Oscar somebody? Isaac?
His face was...
I don't remember. I guess I could just find it out right now. But yeah, Moon Knight got
Wasn't it Poe?
Nah.
Who he got casted
Oh,
as?
yeah, my bad. That's the Star Wars guy. You're right. It is Poe. My bad.
I couldn't recognize his face because he had the beard, and I was just like, who's that? And he was like, that's from... So I was like, oh, snap, that is him. He just looked different with that facial hair.
Yeah, so...
I don't have any. I'm kind of neutral. I don't like I hate Poe character, but I know that's not who that guy is.
Yeah.
So like, I try to separate it, but it's hard because when I see him, I see Poe.
Do you hate John Boyega? I'm probably saying his name wrong. I'm probably saying, look at your face, it's bad, disgusting.
I don't want Poe to be Moon Knight.
Do you hate John Boyega too? Like or just that's the Black Stormtrooper, or do you just hate his character?
Yo, he is.
Do you hate him as an actor?
He's the bottom. Unfortunately, they gave the brother the worst one.
No.
He's
But
the
do you hate the actor?
Oh.
I know you hate the story. You was ready to attack. I know you hate the character. Do you hate
Yo, when I see him, when I see the actor, that's the first thing that. Now I know that's not him, so no, I don't hate the actor.
Okay,
but
I'm
when
just
I
checking.
see him,
Just
I think him. I think of the stormtrooper. So my first kind of inclination when I see him in Poe is like, I don't like y'all. But then I'm like, oh no, you're Oscar. You're not Poe.
Okay. I heard he met with.
I don't like Poe.
I heard he met with.
Or Black Stormtrooper. I hate that guy. He is the worst character.
Real quick, did you like Black female Stormtrooper in the third movie?
Black, the gold lady?
Maybe she was inspired by him rebelling, so she said a bunch of other Stormtroopers also rebel, you know?
Yo, 3 years. Yeah, I don't know if I remember. I don't recall that. I remember other things from that one.
But I heard he met with Disney about because he came out with that article talking about how they were racist towards all the minorities. And I heard he met with Disney about it, and I don't know. That's all I know. Like just a discussion.
Why were they racist towards him? What happened?
He didn't like the story arcs of how he basically the same complaints that we complain about
like his
Star Wars.
Either. Nah, I know.
The only difference is he said that they, unlike us, like, cause we're just saying this is stupid. Why are you doing it? He blamed it a lot on racism. Like, so yeah, cause even the Chinese girl went from like I don't even know if she's
Chinese. You can't
Chinese.
just blame racism for things. It's gotta be
the Asian girl from movie 2, she ends up being in it. I think he said like a 47 seconds or 15 minutes, whatever it is, but a very small, minute role in movie 3. And the same thing. It's like you'd have to read the article or his quotes. I don't remember. This is a while ago, but yeah, he they weren't very public, so he met with Disney about it. I guess to try to air some of that out. But yeah, he felt like.
Look, do me a favor when you talking to Disney, get some more airtime for the peoples, the minorities. But please, no more airtime for these characters though. So like, that's cool. You should have a bigger role, but let's not give the Black Stormtrooper a bigger role. Let's give a different character. He didn't like that
they had no direction like for those characters. They had no real kind of end goal and. There was nothing big and grandiose for them.
I think the goal should be to end them now. The goal should be to end those characters and make new characters and put cool, diverse people in them too. But get rid of those. I wouldn't want to be the Black Stormtrooper either. It's like being a boy back in the day and like picking Power Rangers and you get stuck with like maybe the Pink Ranger or something like that. You know what I mean? Nothing against the Pink Ranger. I'm just saying, like, back then, a little boy, you probably want to be the white or the green.
Do you want to see all the male?
Nobody want to be the whack, runaway, crybaby stormtrooper dude.
Do you want to see all the guy Power Rangers fight all the female Power Rangers?
He's the one character I can't figure out who's he transposed from.
I think in movie 1, it's easier to do that. I think
who's he supposed to be?
If we just isolate it to movie 1, I think you could probably put him in. Well, I guess she's Luke, right? So who are the other ones? Like Luke, Sam. This is hard now.
He Leia.
He maybe, because Han Solo, right? Because Poe has such a small role in movie 1 too. It's like I guess he Han Solo, but he not really.
Han Solo, yeah. I would say he's the Han Solo.
But he also not even in the movie. Captain. He not even.
But let's say his character is right the new because they making a new guard or the old guard, right?
They're this bad, right? If he's either Leia or Chewie.
Cool, the black. He ain't Chewie.
Well, those are the only two options, right? Those are the only two options.
Don't ever disrespect Chewie and compare that piece of shit to Chewie. Chewie's one of the illest Star Wars OGs.
I know, but you know what's funny? Chewie is not even Chewie in those movies, except for movie 1. That's it.
He like done with it at this point. I don't know how old Wookiees get to be. Like this shit's dumb.
I don't
They
like
ain't
that.
never gonna not be space Nazis.
Now we gotta stop. We gotta
Over
like
it.
ban Star Wars from the show because it's just so easy to shit on those new movies. But yeah, like I don't like that. Like Chewie is kind of just treated like he don't exist just because he don't speak English. Like we don't gotta give him any. He don't got any real roles in these movies. He's literally driving Miss
Give
Daisy.
Chewie a bigger
He's
role.
driving
Give
Miss
Chewie-
Daisy. That's his role. Once Han Solo dies, he's just driving Miss Daisy. That's
Yeah,
her
that's
name
true.
too. As an actress, he's literally driving Miss
Do we
Daisy.
know who is the Black Stormtrooper supposed to be? Tell me.
I don't know, dude.
Nobody.
Nobody.
A bitch ass Stormtrooper. That's who he's supposed to be. That's exactly who. It ain't no other character. Just some whack character they doing it. Unnecessary. Crybaby running around with us. They could have probably beat the Empire if that dude wasn't in the way. Him and Poe do nothing but ruin things. And I hate the story already. They just make me hate it even more. I'm done. That's it.
Poe only gets a bigger role in the future movies because I guess people talked about him enough that he was just meant to be, that's it, just a little side character note, you know. So he wasn't even planning to be anybody. That's why he's in the movie so little, you know. So
I'm not a big fan of the movies. I mean, they do a good job of getting me to hate Poe. If that was their goal, is for me to connect to him by like not liking him, then they do good at that. But the other dude, I even like I just don't. Yeah, I don't know.
yeah, they're all
He's
all
a
three are
weak
bad.
character.
We've
Weak.
gone.
It was
we've gone
it was
through
not even believable when he fought the golden stormtrooper lady. I didn't even believe it. This dude is getting tough now all of a sudden. It wasn't even believable. It's fake.
That fight is a perfect example of like
Trash. That's what it's a perfect example of.
I'm just saying
Trash.
they need to watch wrestling because you can see the buildup of an arc, and that was not a good conclusion at all. Because she had a good buildup, and it was just like, all right, now I need you to put I don't even remember his name in the movie, but I need you to put him over now. So just take the L to this guy, you know. It's just
I was like, just pull a phaser out and shoot him. Forget all of this. Finish him. Finish the Black Stormtrooper now.
yo, movie. All those movies are crazy, but movie 2 and 3 might as well have been like Zack Snyder movies. That's who needs. You want Disney to hire Zack Snyder. He maybe give him a Star Wars movie. So watch what he does with that shit.
And you know what? The last thing before we move on.
Yeah.
I don't want that girl character, the one that's Asian. I don't even want her in the movies no more. Not the actress.
Yeah.
But the character.
I'm probably not a big fan of it either.
She saves.
Oh,
He was about to fly. We was all gonna peace. Yo, peace was upon the universe. That would have blew the thing up, right? We was about to beat. Star Wars would have ended, and all we would have had.
Oh, the beginning of the movie. You talking about the beginning?
The end when he's trying to fly into. This is part 2. The end of part 2.
Oh,
He's flying into the cannon.
Yeah.
And she knocks him out to save him.
Yeah.
Yo, let him fly into the cannon. It would have blew up. They would have blew up. The Empire would have been saved.
The power of love, dude. The power of love.
All we gotta risk is one shitty black stormtrooper. I gotta stop saying he's black. Just one shitty storm. That ain't even a black. Just give up one shitty traitor stormtrooper. Just give up one.
That moment, and it's not just that moment, but I get it maybe I've just seen too many films, but right, there's a lot of just weird stuff just implied, right? It's implied that maybe she has a thing for him and they never run with it, corny as it may be. And the same thing, it's implied that he has a thing for the main character and they never do anything with it either. To the point that movie 3 is like, hey, I want to tell you something. He doesn't tell anything. He just doesn't even ever say that shit. Whatever it was, he was
know the
say.
vibes. That Asian, that chick, after she saved him, after a little more time around him, he was like, I ain't messing with this dude's a sucker. You know what I mean? And the Jedi chick, she absolutely don't have no time for this dude. Rey or the main,
that's her name.
I ain't got no time for your punk ass. You see, I'm doing Jedi shit.
By the way, the Asian girl and John Boyega are responsible. I think her name's Kelly Tran. They're both responsible for that scene in the middle, the casino scene, and the
most
horsey
confusing scene in that movie
the
to me. The
horsey
most
riding stuff,
confusing
the
one.
horsey riding.
Y'all escaped the ship. Why everybody didn't go to casino? What am I missing? Why they just didn't leave space and go? Everybody could just bounce right now to a casino. We could all be chilling.
Nah.
So they left
the slowest car chase in the world.
And everyone could have went to the casino, apparently. Right? Am I bugging out? Am I missing something? Because I probably ain't watched that shit right. You know what I mean? But I could have sworn they was up there trapped with them in this longest car ship.
I don't know. I'm sure there's a reason for things. I don't know.
I'm just saying, as soon as I heard there was a plan to get off of this ship, with the destroyers trying to hone in and we're doomed, and y'all like, yo, we could teleport down to the casino. I would have been, send me on the casino team. I would have never even came back. With Poe and these dudes, just get me out of here. Get me out of here. Black Stormtrooper, you could go back up and save them. I'm cool in the casino.
So we still hate Star Wars. The new stuff, except for Rogue One.
Hate this if they ever.
They look. They still. All new Star Wars movies suck. Rogue One is good. Mandalorian started last week. It's still good. But it's still just, normal stuff, but it's fine.
Yeah.
Boba Fett might be a shadow ninja now, but that's another story.
They need more pilots like the dude from Rogue One. Like, that dude was real. They got Poe. He like the opposite of that dude. He like the opposite of a good dude.
All right, Star Wars sucks. We gotta stop.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, it's too much. It's too much. Too much, man.
All right, songs of the week.
I've heard this song. It's called "Fuck Poe."
Is that a real song?
Nah, I just made that up. Nah.
I was like, that's some ill shit.
I feel like this week I didn't listen to too much music either.
My
you know what I did listen to?
Release radar was trash this week. It's never.
Yeah, it wasn't nothing. It wasn't nothing.
It was trash.
It wasn't nothing. You know what I've been listening to?
What?
So sometimes when I'm working, I put on some like it's a playlist for focusing music, but it's a lot of piano stuff. It's a lot of old things. And I actually noticed
you made it, or it's one of the generated ones?
It's one that somebody made already. It was like already somebody put one together.
Yeah. Popular playlist.
Crashy or something like that. But I found that like I do kind of zone out better, specifically with this kind of music on. I don't know if it's because it's not people talking like rap. There's people talking, and sometimes that like could pull my attention.
Yeah.
But this stuff really like I focus like maybe it's placebo, but I feel like it's something I can have on a background that at the least it's not distracting me.
Yeah.
But
it might be the right frequencies hitting you.
I'm just gonna do the first. Which one? I'll just do these two songs. 6 piano pieces. Maybe that's opera. 118. Intermezzo in A major, number 2. By Johannes Brahms and Zuri Lux.
Damn, you hit me with a Brahms track?
And Moments. I kind of like this song by Alexis Ffrench with 2 F's. FFRENCH on the album Evolution. But it's a lot of like piano kind of stuff. But the first 5, I like the whole playlist, most of it, but the first ones I like, and those 2 I like. The first track is okay. Nocturne number 1 in C, Summer Nocturne by Yiruma, album Stay in Memory. But yeah, those pretty random this week. But yeah, focus music.
I think that'll be interesting looking some of that up. I don't know. Like as I try to make the notes for this show. My new releases suck this week. I guess there's one wave track if I have to pick one, but I click in and out. One of my vices of wasting time, I guess, I go to Twitch a lot and I click in and out a lot of channels. clicked on this girl, and I don't know, man, like something about her. I think it was like I don't know, just like remembered you or some shit. And I was like, is this that girl? And it was the lead singer to this band called Lacuna Coil, which is a band from Italy that I used to listen to years ago. Actually, we still lived in New York when I used to listen to this band. And I was like, that's wild. Because like I didn't really continue to follow them because they went in a musical direction that I just didn't really like. So I would check in and out as they release stuff, but it just wasn't for me anymore. But I was like, that's wild. I was like, so I went down the whole, like, because I've never listened to them on Spotify. So I added the stuff from them I liked. And then check out some of the new stuff and, still in that maybe direction that I don't want to be about. But but 2002, I throw the whole album on here. It's rare, but back in the day, albums were good, right? Like, so Comalies, I don't know how you say this shit. Comalies. So Comalies. Maybe it's Comalies because there's a song here with the word lie in it. So Comalies. But Lacuna Coil, Comalies, 2002, son. 2002 release. So it was just interesting to see that. And interesting to see that, yeah, like, I mean, maybe she's doing it for fun, but I was like, man, like, there's a lot of musicians on here playing games these days. As I'm a musician and I tour the world, but when I'm not, I'm on Twitch playing games. I'm like, I mean, Mixed Ali, right? I follow him because he mixes on Twitch, but you know what else he'd be doing? He'd be playing Call of Duty. And same thing, you hear me mention Alex Toomey. He go on live. I was like, he go on live almost every other night playing Call of Duty. I'm like, yo, Kenny Beats don't even stream this much. So I was like, how you got time to be playing Call of Duty all the damn time?
Sometimes you make time, okay?
I guess.
The squad needs me. Gotta rank up.
I don't know. I guess mix engineers, man, I don't know. They seem to be the ones that got time to play games. I don't never see a producer play games. It's always the mix engineers. But yeah, that whole album. I throw that whole album there, song of the week. Last words.
Last words.
I think our main topic was that first one. That was pretty hard hitting. So
yeah. Yo, my advice remains the same consistently from week to week. Use your head. Think for yourself. Believe in yourself. Be creative. Don't be afraid of everything, and don't be a fucking idiot. Just don't be stupid and just believe everything. And it's okay to be wrong, but at least be thinking, right? At least get to the wrong conclusion yourself and fix it after that. Get to the wrong conclusion because somebody told you. You just followed somebody. It's dumb. Star Wars sucks. The new ones suck. Those are my final words.
All right. Bake that chicken, smoke that turkey, boosh.